Hello there, and welcome to Dreamy Science. I'm so glad you're here. Maybe today felt like too much, or maybe your thoughts are still quietly circling. Either way, you've landed in a gentle place to rest. Tonight, we won't be chasing answers or measuring minds. We'll be drifting slowly and calmly into the ancient forests of thought, into the quiet brilliance of chimpanzees. These are not just creatures of instinct or survival. They feel, they remember, they play, they mourn. Their minds move like water over stone, patient, curious, alive. In this journey, we'll listen to how they think with their hands, how they speak with their eyes, and how their memories stretch across generations. We'll explore not to divide us from them, but to feel the quiet rhythm of intelligence that doesn't need to explain itself. Along the way, you may find that their story gently reflects your own, in gesture, in emotion, in the way we all carry something ancient beneath the surface. And as you listen, there's nothing you need to do. Just breathe, just be. If these calm explorations help you unwind, if they ease you into sleep or simply offer a soft space to wonder, consider liking and subscribing to the channel. It helps more quiet minds find their way here, one sleepy soul at a time. Now, let's begin. Not to define anything, but simply to drift through forest light, through memory, through mind. In the hush of the forest, thought stirs like fog through the leaves. Chimpanzee minds awaken not with noise, but with quiet awareness. Their waking is not abrupt. It is slow, soft, like mist lifting from the understory. Eyes blink open not to alarm, but to presence. There is no rush to stand, no need to speak. They sit, they stretch, they groom. The morning enters gently, and so do their thoughts. Around them, leaves shimmer with light. Birdsong filters through the canopy. Beneath this ancient roof of green, cognition blooms without fanfare. They do not think in words, but in patterns, in memory, in sensation, in response and rhythm. One reaches for another, a soft touch, a small sign. Awareness is not made loud, but made real. They know where they are. They know who is near. They know what matters. And so, the day begins not with orders or plans, but with attention, with watching the world and feeling it watch back. Their intelligence is not noise. It is not display. It is something older, deeper, like roots moving slowly underground. You do not need to translate it, to feel it. You do not need to be like them to understand. You, too, have mornings like this, quiet, sensing, slow. The thoughts that rise without language, the knowing that precedes speech. And as you rest here now, in the hush of your own canopy, you may feel it too. The mind within the mind, waken not to action, but to stillness. There is calculation in the way they crack a nut. Not reaction, but decision, measured and remembered. The rock is chosen, the nut is placed, the force is judged. This is not instinct unfolding blindly. This is intention shaped by experience. They do not strike at random. They aim, they adjust, they fail, and then they try again. Learning is visible in their repetition. The hand grows steadier, the crack more precise. Some take months to master it. Some teach their young by letting them watch. And still, others carry their favorite tools with them. A favored stone, a reliable anvil. These choices are not just practical. They are personal. Intelligence lives here, not in a flash of genius, but in the slow perfection of motion. Across generations, techniques evolve. In one region, they use stones, in another, sticks. The forest itself shapes the method, and the mind shapes it further. To watch them is to watch memory in motion, not inherited as instinct, but transmitted through time and place. This is more than survival. This is culture. This is thought layered on thought. And as you breathe slowly now, resting in your own quiet body, think of the rhythm in your hands, the choices you've made that no one taught you directly. You too learned through watching, through trying, through touch. And so, even here in the soft dark, you are connected to minds that measure, to choices that echo, to a lineage of learning in every lifted hand. Their movements retrace old paths, not because they must, but because memory calls them home. 1,000 journeys live in their steps. Through the forest, they walk with purpose born from repetition. Each bend of vine, each fallen tree, each clearing soaked in light, they remember. The group moves as one, but each mind holds its own map, a web of food, danger, and shelter laced through the terrain. When a tree fruits, they recall. When a predator passed once before, they adjust. Even after months, they return to the same stone, the same branch, the same cool patch of earth beneath an ancient fig. These places hold not just food, but feeling. Rest was here, play was here, a mother's arms, a sibling's laugh. Memory lives in place, and as they move, that memory becomes visible, not just in where they go, but in how they pause, a glance, a hesitation, a choice to circle wide, nothing random. Even in silence, they are recalling. Their feet whisper old stories into the ground, and you too have places like this. Paths your body knows before your mind catches up. Streets, corners, forest edges, doorways where memory gathers like light. So as you lie still now, drifting further inward, let those inner paths unfold. Let the forest inside you speak. Memory is not only held in the brain, it is walked, it is touched, it is felt. Let it guide you home, gently, like a soft trail through leaves. With sticks, they touch the invisible, coaxing termites from their tunnels with crafted tools. Their hands are soft makers. The act is precise, practiced, full of purpose. A twig becomes a probe, stripped of leaves with careful motion. It is not random. It is remembered. And once inserted, they wait. A pause, then the flicker of reward. Termites cling to the tip, and the chimpanzee draws it out, like a spoon from an unseen bowl. This is not instinct alone. It is knowledge passed through observation. They do not just use the stick, they know the why. The hollow sounds of the mound, the scent of activity, the feel of readiness beneath their fingertips. Their hands are sensitive, deliberate, attuned to texture and shape. A child watches nearby. Imitation begins, slowly, awkwardly at first. Then with time, with failure and success, they learn. One day, they will craft a tool of their own. Each troop has its own techniques. Some dip, others fish, some spear, culture woven through fingertips. The forest offers the same resources to all, but only some hands transform them. The boundary between thought and touch dissolves here. In these small, focused moments, intelligence becomes tactile. A twig becomes a bridge between mind and world. As you lie still now, think of your own hands, what they've built, what they've felt, how knowledge once passed to you without words. You are not so far removed. The same patience, the same spark, the same shaping presence, all of it rests quietly beneath your skin. When they sit still, it is not idle. Thought does not always need motion to move. Beneath the shade, they pause, not in sleep, but in awareness, eyes half-lidded, breathing slow. The forest hums around them, but they do not rush. This stillness is not absence, It is attention without effort, reflection without noise. What happened earlier lingers, replayed gently. What may come next begins to unfold in the quiet behind their gaze. Others move nearby. They watch, but do not follow. They listen, but do not answer. Their silence is full. In this pause, decisions simmer. Anger softens. Memory weaves its pattern. Plans take shape without voice. To watch them is to feel something ancient, a kind of wisdom that doesn't declare itself, but waits. And when they move again, it is with certainty, not hesitation, not randomness. Stillness has given them shape. The world moves fast, but not every mind does, and yours doesn't need to. You're allowed to be quiet, to sit, to feel the air shift against your skin and do nothing at all. Within you, too, there is a hush that holds its own kind of clarity. You don't need to explain it. You only need to rest inside it. Let their stillness be yours tonight, unhurried, unshaped by urgency, just breath, just being. Let the world keep turning while you stay softly in place, thinking without thinking, moving without motion, aware without effort, a silence that does not empty but holds. They study before they act. Watchful eyes scan, calculate, and wait. Patience is a form of intelligence. One sits beneath a fig tree, gaze flicking from fruit to scatsier to branch to shadow. Others may leap, grasp, fail, but not this one. This one waits, observes, learns from the attempts of others. The branch bends too far, remembered. The ripest fruits fall just before noon, remembered. Information gathers in silence, and decision blooms only when the moment is right. When they hunt, it is the same. Eyes track the movement of prey. They do not charge immediately. They track, they surround. They consider wind, light, position. This is not luck. This is foresight. In the hierarchy, too, the wise rise, not by force alone, but by knowing when to act, when to hold back, when to observe without interference. Watching is not passive. It is choice. The young watch the old. The low rank watch the high. All are learning, constantly. You do this too. You always have. Long before words you watched. You understood smiles, frowns, gestures, pauses. The world was first read with eyes, not books. So now, in your own quiet moment, let that ancient, watching mind emerge. Feel it stretch inside you, like a cat in sunlight. You do not need to act, not yet, not tonight. Simply let the world unfold a little longer before you decide. Let the wisdom of waiting fill your chest like breath and rest inside the gentle power of the unspoken gaze. Some recognize their reflection. A gaze into still water reveals a flicker of self, a slow turn of the head, a tilt, a pause, and then the eyes meet their own, not a rival, not another, but something familiar. They test the image. A hand lifts, and the reflection follows. A motion repeated, mirrored, understood. This is not confusion. It is curiosity, recognition. The forest offers few mirrors, but in a quiet pool, under still light, a mind meets itself. Not every chimp does this, but some do. The threshold between awareness and self-awareness is not a gate, but a shimmer. It appears in these quiet moments where nothing else is demanding, when stillness opens a door and something steps through, a thought that begins, I am, not just hunger or fear or joy, but identity, the self seen from the outside, and once seen, it cannot be unseen. This awareness changes how they move, how they respond, how they relate. It is not constant. It does not need to be, but it's there. A seed, you've done this too, caught your reflection in a window and felt not just recognition, but reflection in the deeper sense. Who is that really? What am I feeling? In that moment, the world folds gently inward, and so tonight you may look into your own stillness and see something looking back. Not strange, not separate, but gently known. You are more than the surface of things. You are a being who knows it is being. Grief passes through them like shadow through trees. When one is lost, others carry the quiet. There are no tears, no spoken eulogies, but something shifts. A mother holds the body of her child, not for seconds, but for hours, even days. She grooms it as if sleep might be undone. Others approach and touch gently. They do not disrupt, they acknowledge. Mourning is not loud here. It is not fast. It moves in silences, in slower movements, in eyes that linger on the empty places. The group pauses, routine changes, laughter, once common, softens. They sit near each other more often, contact increases, bonds tighten. Something has been felt, and it is shared, not explained, but held. This is emotion in its oldest form, not dressed in ritual, but bare and true. And when the moment passes, life does not forget. They remember the lost. They avoid the place of death for a while. They seek comfort in the presence of others. A scar is formed, not visible, but real. You too have known this shadow, and you've carried it in your own quiet ways. Tonight, let their softness remind you that grief is not something to be conquered. It moves like weather, passing, returning, reshaping. Let it be part of the rhythm. Let it soften the edges of your night, not with pain, but with permission. You're allowed to feel, to carry, to continue. Even in loss, there is connection. Even in silence, there is understanding. They remember injury, not just in body, but in place, avoiding the stone that once hurt, a root that tripped, a thorny bush that stung, a branch that snapped with too much weight. The memory lingers, woven not just into thought, but into movement. Days later, they approach the same place and pause, a detour, a hesitation. The body avoids what once wounded it. This is not random. It is learned, a path adjusted by pain. And when another nears the same danger, a warning gesture may come, a grunt, a hand held up, a subtle sign, shared memory, shared caution. This is more than instinct. It is experience worn into the fabric of behavior. Sometimes the memory is social, a fight that happened beneath a certain tree, a betrayal near a watering spot. Their steps slow, senses heighten, not everything forgotten. Some wounds are deeper than skin. You do this too. You step carefully in places that once held sorrow. You remember who hurt you and where, not always consciously, but deeply. The body knows, the mind adjusts, and sometimes, like them, you learn to guide others away from your old pain, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. So rest now, knowing that your memories, even the hard ones, are not flaws. They are maps. They help you walk softer, choose better, pause longer. Like the chimpanzees, you are learning always, even from the stones, even from the ache. Not all sounds are warning. Sometimes they play, rough, loud, joyful, as if the forest itself joins in. Laughter crackles between branches like sunlight through leaves. Young ones tumble and chase, their shrieks echoing up into the canopy. It is not chaos, but rhythm, a pattern of calls, gasps, and replies. Mouths open in play faces, eyes squinting in delight. They mock charge, roll, and leap, their bodies loose with trust. Older chimps watch from nearby, sometimes joining, sometimes simply basking in the energy. Play is not wasted time. It is rehearsal. It teaches timing, empathy, boundaries, it bonds, and through it, they learn each other's edges, when to stop, when to push, when to yield. In these moments, laughter becomes a language more honest than words. It disarms, it includes, it forgives. Even adults have their games, tickling, teasing, pretending to steal. These are not just amusements, they are the glue of social life. You too have laughed in places of safety, your voice mixing with those you trust. You've known the relief of shared joy, of tension released in a breath of silliness. Tonight, imagine the forest alive with their mirth, the rustling leaves, the quick footsteps, the squeals of joy. Let their play remind you that life is not only survival, it is connection, it is lightness. It is the sound of beings being fully themselves. Drift with that sound now, not loud, not jarring, but fading gently, like laughter carried on a warm wind through trees. Friendships are forged not in crisis, but in days spent grooming, resting, and simply being near. A hand reaches out, parts the fur, finds a fleck of dust. Another leans in, trusting. These quiet rituals are not for hygiene alone. They are for affirmation, for closeness, for peace. Hours may pass in this soft exchange, fingers moving slowly, breath steady. They choose each other, not by force, not by blood, but by something gentler, companionship. Two chimps may sit together for years, their bond steady like a path worn by returning footsteps. They defend each other in disputes, share food, greet with warm embraces after time apart. Even when group politics shift, some friendships hold. They are not always loud. Sometimes they are simply about presence. Who sits beside you when nothing is happening? Who do you turn to when the forest is quiet? This is where strength begins, not in dominance, but in trust, in the safety of another's nearness. You've known this too, the friend who shows up without needing to speak. The quiet hour passed in shared stillness. It matters. It builds you. So tonight, imagine these bonds stretching across the trees like silver threads, delicate but unbreakable. Let yourself feel held by memory, by the nearness of someone who once stayed. You are not alone in your stillness. There is always someone nearby, in spirit, in rhythm. Like the chimps, you carry the shape of those you've trusted. Let that shape comfort you now. An infant clings, not just for milk, but for comfort, for rhythm, for learning. From the first breath, the connection is physical, arms wrapped tight, tiny hands grasping tufts of hair. A mother moves through the forest, and her child sways with her, absorbing the cadence of life through the rise and fall of her steps. Every motion teaches when to duck beneath branches, when to pause, when to rest. The child listens with its whole body, nestled against warmth. Nursing is not only nourishment, it is heartbeat, breath, scent, a lullaby of presence. And even when not feeding, they remain close. The mother grooms, cradles, shields. She is not perfect, but she is enough. Her patience stretches across days of clumsy climbing, of loud cries, of constant need. In return, the child learns the world through her calm. Safety becomes a shape, a rhythm, a way of being. Other females in the group may help, aunts, sisters, elders, but the mother is the first teacher, the first home. You have known this too. Perhaps not from a mother, but from someone who steadied you with their nearness, someone who wrapped you in warmth when the world was too loud. Tonight, let that memory cradle you. Let the arms of the past, soft, worn, steady, carry you once more. You are still that child, held by rhythms older than words. Let yourself rest in that closeness, swaying gently into sleep. They strip leaves with care, crafting probes and spears. The forest is a toolkit, and they are its artisans. A twig becomes a wand, a stem becomes a key. Nothing is wasted. Each material is chosen with intent, strong enough to pierce, thin enough to slip into the narrow tunnels of a termite mound. They sit quietly, stripping, shaping, testing, not rushed, not random. This is patience applied to purpose. A chimp may snap multiple branches before finding the right one. Another may use a stone to crack a nut, carefully adjusting the angle of each strike. These are not instinctive flails. They are rehearsed, remembered, refined. Some even pass these techniques down. A mother teaching her child, not with words, but with demonstration. The forest watches. The tools evolve. In some regions, spears are sharpened to hunt. In others, bundles of leaves are used as sponges to drink from hollow trees. Culture, hidden in bark and bone. You've held tools too, pens, spoons, brushes, keys. You've felt the power of using the world to shape your will. Tonight, think of the quiet hands in the forest, choosing their branch by moonlight, not to dominate, but to understand, to interact, to participate. The chimp does not conquer the forest, it collaborates. So too do you in your own way. Let that kinship ease your thoughts. The world is not foreign, it is touchable, shapeable, and in your stillness, you remain a maker. Even in dreams, before the hunt, there is stillness, not chaos, but choreography unfolding. They sit beneath trees, eyes flicking from shadow to rustle, from movement to intention. No signal is shouted, no orders are barked, and yet the pattern begins. One moves, slow and low. Another follows, circling wide. The group fans out, each role known without rehearsal. It is not luck, it is memory, shared memory, rehearsed over seasons. These hunts are not frequent, but when they come, they arrive with grace, strategy, timing. They know the terrain, know the patterns of their prey, and they communicate not with volume, but with glances, pauses, the tilt of a body. In the forest, too much noise gives you away. Silence becomes signal, and within that quiet, plans bloom. Not every hunt ends in a catch. Sometimes the prey escapes, but the coordination remains, the understanding, the attempt. You too have known this kind of planning, the unspoken agreement between teammates, the shared breath before a leap. It's a kind of music played without sound. Tonight, let yourself imagine their stillness, alert, calm, precise. You do not need frenzy to act. You do not need panic to move forward. The most effective plans are often the quietest ones, made in the hush of readiness. Let that stillness enter you now. No need to chase, just prepare, just align. Let your thoughts slow. Let your breath match the rhythm of creatures who know how to wait. Sleep, too, is a kind of preparation, a plan made in quiet, a reach, a nod, a subtle sway, language without words, understood across lifetimes. One chimp stretches a hand palm up, not grabbing, but offering. Another leans close, rests a chin, closes their eyes, a signal of peace, of trust. In the forest, gestures flow like water. A raised arm can mean, groom me. A touch on the back says, follow. Eyes meet, then shift. Bodies adjust. There are rules here, not written, not spoken, but deeply felt. Even a stare carries weight. Too long, and it challenges. Softened, it welcomes. Young ones learn this choreography by watching, by being corrected, by failing gently and trying again. Misunderstandings happen, tensions rise, but most of the time, things smooth over with a glance, a touch, a shared breath. You've spoken this language too. in moments where words would be too heavy, a hand held, a nod across the room, the way someone sits beside you in silence. Communication is older than speech. It lives in the body, in gesture, in presence. Tonight, let your body speak to your mind, not in sentences, but in sensation. Let the quiet language of your breath, your heartbeat, your stillness remind you that you do not always need to explain yourself. You are understood in ways deeper than grammar. So soften now. Let your gestures fall away. Let silence carry what needs to be said. You are not alone. Even here, in sleep, your presence is fluent. Young ones learn by watching. No lecture, no lesson, only presence and time. A mother cracks a nut between stone and root. A child sits nearby, still and alert. The technique is not explained, but shown over and over again until imitation becomes instinct. In this forest classroom, patience is the only curriculum. There is no performance, no grades, just life lived openly. Older chimps groom, forage, solve, and explore, and the young observe in silence. They mimic with small hands, fumbling at first, but improving with each try. Success isn't demanded. It unfolds naturally over weeks, over seasons. Skills pass down like water flowing over rock, slowly but with certainty. Even play becomes instruction. Even failure is part of the lesson. There are no scoldings here, only repetitions, only demonstrations. This way of teaching does not hurry. It trusts that learning arrives when it's ready. And you too have learned in silence, by watching others tie shoelaces, stir soup, offer kindness. You've absorbed knowledge not through command, but through witness. Tonight, let that comfort you. You don't need to master everything now. Growth can be quiet. Understanding can arrive softly. There is wisdom in simply being present, so breathe with the rhythm of the forest. Trust in the lessons you carry. You are still learning, even now, even in rest. Anger, fear, delight, worn openly on the face. Nothing hidden, nothing filtered. A chimpanzee laughs with full body trembles, lips parted, eyes bright. Another scowls, lips tight, fur bristling, shoulders raised in warning. Emotion is not concealed. It is embodied. In this world, feelings are not masks to be worn or removed. They are signals. Honest ones. A whimper draws comfort. A bark of alarm alerts the group. Joy spreads like ripples when one begins to play. Even grief is visible, shared in the slowness of movement, the quietness of gaze. They do not pretend. They do not hide behind forced calm. Their faces, their gestures, their sounds all speak of inner weather, and still they coexist, still they forgive. This transparency is not weakness, it's clarity. You too have emotions worn on your skin, a smile that softens a room, a sigh that invites a hand, a tear that releases pressure. But so often you've been told to contain it, to smile when weary, to quiet when afraid. Tonight, let the chimpanzees remind you of something simpler. You are allowed to feel fully, honestly, deeply, even in stillness, even in dreams. You do not need to explain your joy or justify your sorrow. You are a creature of expression, and rest is not the absence of emotion. It is the place where feeling is safe. Let your breath rise and fall with the truth of what's inside. You are held here just as you are. Juveniles tumble, chase, wrestle, not just for fun, but to learn limits, to grow safe strength. The forest echoes with soft thuds and playful screeches as small bodies dart between trees, leap from low branches, and roll in leaves. This is not chaos. It is rehearsal. Through play, they test boundaries. A bite that's too hard ends the game. A shove too rough is met with a pause, a correction. They learn what's safe, what's fair, what's kind. No adult interrupts, because this is the curriculum of confidence. Coordination improves, reflexes sharpen, but more than muscle, they build trust. A playmate who shares, who returns, who doesn't abandon. That is a partner worth keeping. Even solitary creatures need these lessons early on. And you, too, once learned through play. Your hands grasp blocks, not just to build towers, but to build understanding. You chased not just for the thrill, but to feel closeness. You laughed not just at silliness, but because connection felt safe. Somewhere along the way, play became rare, became labeled as childish, but it never stopped mattering. Even now, your mind learns through dreams, through wonder, through joy. Let yourself remember that tonight. Sleep is not wasted time. It is rehearsal. It is renewal. Let your thoughts tumble gently. Let your spirit stretch and leap. There's no need to perform. Just rest. Just play within your mind. Grow softly. In the dark, a wound is not left alone. Others clean it, attend it, carry care like a shared song. A chimpanzee with an injury does not disappear into solitude. It is groomed gently, the edges of the wound examined, dirt picked away with practiced fingers. Companions stay near, keeping watch through the night, adjusting their pace during the day to match the injured one's rhythm. There is no speech, no prescribed roles, only response, only presence. In the forest, healing is not a private affair, it's communal. There are moments when a friend will hold still while another rests against them, offering warmth, protection, belonging. Even emotional pain finds comfort in proximity. Grief is met with touch. Fear is quieted with closeness. You too are made for this kind of care, to offer it and to receive it. Sometimes healing begins, not with medicine or movement, but with someone simply staying beside you. Let yourself remember that tonight. You don't need to carry everything alone. Rest is not retreat, it is restoration. You are not weak for needing others. Even in sleep, your body is mending, your spirit is stitching itself back together. Like the chimps who keep watch through the darkness, your own inner caretakers are present now, soothing, steadying, staying near. Let them do their quiet work. You are not broken. You are becoming whole again, surrounded by invisible hands that know how to help. They look upward when storms build. Lightning is not new, but it is always seen. A rumble rolls through the canopy, and the group pauses. Heads tilt skyward. Eyes scan a shifting sky. Some move closer together. Others climb higher to find shelter beneath the thickest leaves. They've lived through many rains, but each new storm is met with alertness. Not panic, awareness. A flash splits the darkening air. Thunder follows. The rhythm of the forest changes. Insects hush. Birds go quiet. Chimpanzees adapt. They wait. They watch. They feel the change not just in sound or light, but in pressure, in scent, in the mood of the trees. Weather is not background. It is participant, and they are tuned to it. You too know this sense. When the air thickens before a downpour, when silence deepens before lightning strikes, when you pause without knowing why, there is memory in your bones, a memory of watching the sky. Tonight, as you lie safe and still, the sky may shift again above you. Let it. Let the world move through its weathers. You are not separate from the storm. You are simply resting during its passage. Like the chimps, you do not need to control it. Just observe. Just respond with stillness. Let the soft thunder of your heartbeat echo through your chest. Let your breath rise and fall like gathering clouds. You are safe here under this sky. Let the storm pass overhead. Elders know where fruit will ripen, that wisdom flows forward, rippling through time. A matriarch leads the way, not with force, but with memory. She remembers the grove where figs sweeten first, the hollow tree that holds water longest, the bend in the river where fish shimmer in the dry season. The young follow her, not blindly, but because her steps hold stories. They watch what she tastes, where she pauses, how she listens to the trees. This isn't instinct, it's inheritance. Knowledge not written in genes, but passed through observation, through example, through time. Even when she is gone, others carry her path. Her pauses become theirs. Her decisions echo in their choices. This is what survival looks like. Not domination, but continuity. You, too, carry the memory of those before you, not just in family, but in culture, in gesture, in the quiet wisdom passed without words, a recipe your hands remember, a route your feet find without thought, a kindness you learn by being loved. Tonight, let those memories cradle you. You do not need to know everything. You are already held by generations of learning. Let go of the pressure to solve, to search, to strive. Trust the path that brought you here. Trust the steps that lie ahead. Just as fruit returns with the season, your understanding will ripen in time. Rest now, like a leaf carried on a remembered wind. The way forward is already known. When one dies, the others pause. They return to the body, gently, again and again. There is no confusion in their stillness, only recognition. Hands reach out to touch the unmoving form, brushing the fur, lifting the limbs, staring quietly at the face that no longer responds. Sometimes they vocalize low, almost inaudible, as if calling the departed back. Sometimes they simply sit, unmoving, for hours. Days may pass before they move on, and even then, they return, again and again, as if trying to understand, as if love still tethers them to what remains. This is not instinct. It is grief, grief without ceremony, without flowers or eulogies, but no less deep. Mourning echoes in their posture, in the slowness of their gestures, in the silence that falls over the group. They hold space for loss in a way few expect from creatures without words, and you, too, have felt this ache. The strange quiet after goodbye, the way the world continues while something inside you slows. Tonight, let yourself rest in that softness. There is no need to solve sorrow, no rush to move through it. Like the chimpanzees, you can just sit beside it, touch it gently, let memory drift in like mist. There is no shame in missing, no weakness in mourning. You are a being shaped by connection, and loss is only love stretched thin across time. Let that tenderness hold you. Let your body soften around what you've lost. You are not alone in remembering. They do not just copy, they refine, adding their own rhythm to what was seen. A young chimp watches her elder crack a nut with a stone. She mimics the grip, the angle, the force, but then she tries a different rock, a smoother one, a new rhythm. She watches again, adjusts, and improves. Imitation is not passive here. It is active, creative, deliberate. Skills are not merely absorbed. They are personalized. One learns to fish for termites with a long twig, another with a bent one. They do not fear change. They explore it. In this way, culture is born, not fixed, but flowing. Each learner becomes a teacher in turn, passing down not just techniques, but adaptations. You too have done this. You watched someone tie their shoes, make tea, speak gently, and you tried it your way. You added your tempo, your accent, your fingerprint. Tonight, honor that quiet creativity. You are not a copy, you are an interpretation. Every habit you carry holds echoes of others, but also your own shape. You are part of a lineage of learners, improvisers, dreamers. Rest in the beauty of that tonight. You do not need to invent from nothing. It is enough to take what you've seen and make it your own. Let your dreams echo with remembered gestures. Let your breath fall into your own rhythm. You are learning still, and your way of learning is uniquely yours. A new face is not met with indifference. It is studied, remembered, weighed. When a stranger enters the forest, the group does not rush or flee. They pause, watch, note the angle of the shoulders, the tone of the call, the softness or sharpness in the gaze. This is not just curiosity. It is awareness. A new individual carries risk, but also possibility. So they assess, not with fear, but with wisdom. Patterns of behavior are tracked, alliances considered, boundaries drawn. Trust is not given quickly, but it is given sometimes through grooming, sometimes through shared food, sometimes through play. Recognition becomes familiarity. Over time, the stranger may become kin. You too have known this slow unfolding. The moment a new presence enters your life, and something inside you listens, not just to words, but to tone, to silence, to rhythm. You gather impressions like leaves, letting them settle before you decide. Tonight, let that gentle discernment bring you peace. You do not need to judge quickly. Not every new presence must be welcomed or feared. Some just need time. And you too are sometimes the stranger. Remember that others may be watching you with the same care. Let your breath soften with that understanding. Let the unknown become less sharp. There is space for newness. Slowly, you are not alone in your caution or your hope. Some groups make spears, others do not. Culture lives not in the species, but in the troop. One group may use sticks to fish termites from their nests, while another, a few valleys over, remains unaware of the trick. These aren't instinctual tools, they're learned, shared, adapted, and passed on. A mother demonstrates with patience. A young one watches, imitates, modifies. The tool becomes not just a means, but a memory. The stone used by a grandparent might one day rest in the hands of a grandchild, shaped smoother with use, heavier with meaning. Traditions arise not from genetic code, but from repetition and community. A technique lives only if it is remembered. This is how culture breathes in the forest, not with monuments, but with moments. You too are made of such transmissions. The way you tie your shoes, stir your tea, sing softly when no one listens. These too are echoes of those who came before. In your habits lives a kind of heritage. Tonight, as you drift, feel the tools you carry, not in your hands, but in your ways of thinking, noticing, choosing. They are your quiet inheritance, and like the chimps with their spears, you may one day offer them forward, refined. Let that comfort you now. You are not only one mind in a moment, you are part of a long, quiet lineage of makers and rememberers. You carry stories and gesture. You carry knowledge and rhythm. You are the continuation of 1,000 small lessons. They navigate without compass or sign. The canopy holds their landmarks in song, a certain bend in the trail, the scent of a blooming tree, the direction of light through leaves. All these speak louder than maps. The forest is not background to them. It is narrative, a chorus of signals in scent and sound and shape. One path is remembered not by number, but by rhythm. They move through it with purpose, with familiarity, yet with awe. No route is ever quite the same, but it is never unknown. And when they lead one another, a mother guiding her child, a young one following an elder, the journey is as much about trust as it is about direction. You too have traveled without knowing every turn. You have followed the path of feeling, of intuition, of what called to you softly. Tonight, let that deep sense of direction settle in your chest. You do not need to see every step ahead. You are already held by landmarks in your own inner forest, a memory here, a dream there, a moment of kindness glowing in the dark. Let the map unfold as you walk. Let the forest guide you without needing names. You are not lost. You are listening. Even now, as you lie still, the world around you is singing softly of where you are. Let it guide your breath, your rest, your dreams. You know more of the way than you think. Fear flickers, then fades. Affection lingers longer. Their moods ripple like water. A sudden rustle in the underbrush might bring a startled cry, a tense freeze, a watchful pause, but only for a moment. Once safety is sensed again, the fear flows away as quickly as it came. Yet a shared grooming session, a gentle nudge from a friend, a moment of play beneath the leaves. Those feelings endure. They are not flattened by instinct. They are textured, nuanced, dynamic. One might pout after being ignored, another cling closer after a quarrel. These are not mere reactions. They are feelings with layers, with history. Emotion lives in the body, but also in the memory. You too have known this. The way some emotions pass through like breeze, while others stay folded into your skin. Tonight, notice what feelings linger in you. Do not judge them, just let them float to the surface. Some may be sharp and fleeting, others warm and wide. You are not broken for feeling many things at once. Like the chimps, you carry emotional landscapes within you, shifting and rich. Let yourself drift gently over those waters. Let each ripple slow, each echo soften. You do not need to explain what you feel tonight, only to allow it. You are not at war with your moods. They are part of your way of knowing. Let affection stay longer. Let fear pass quickly. Let your inner waters find stillness. They do not run without reason. Paths are chosen. High ground, low escape, all part of the plan. When movement bursts through the treetops, it is not chaos, but choreography. Each leap is measured. Each branch is a decision. Some routes offer concealment, others vantage. Some lead to food, others to refuge. The forest is a three-dimensional puzzle, and they solve it with ease. A rustle below might mean danger, so one climbs higher, testing the air. Another ducks into shadow, looping back with quiet steps. Even in play, strategy whispers beneath motion. Dominance is displayed not only with strength, but with position. Where one stands or swings can shape the entire outcome. You too have made such choices, often without knowing which street to walk, which silence to hold, which word to speak. The mind moves before the body, shaping the path ahead. Tonight, let yourself remember that you have chosen well. Even the wrong turns taught you something. Even the detours were maps. As you rest, feel the ground of your own decisions. Feel the branches you've climbed and the ones you've left behind. You are not lost in this forest. You are learning it, one step, one leap, one breath at a time. Trust your instincts. Trust the quiet calculations that guide you. Not all planning is loud. Some of it lives in your bones. They poke, prod, peel. A new object is not ignored. It is studied, dismantled, known. A leaf is not just a leaf. It's a texture, a tool, a mystery. A snail is a puzzle to be solved with fingers and teeth. Curiosity here is tactile, relentless, and alive. When something unfamiliar enters their world, a fallen feather, a shard of bark, a strange fruit, they do not shy away. They investigate. They test. Sometimes they break what they find, not out of malice, but discovery. How does it bend? What's inside? Will it float or fall? Their learning is not written in books, but in touch, in trial, in taste. You too have looked at something and needed to know it. Not just with your eyes, but your hands, your thoughts. You've taken apart radios, stories, feelings. You've asked why and how, even when there were no answers waiting. That hunger is sacred. Tonight, let it soften. You do not need to solve everything now. Let questions rest beside you like unopened shells. Let your mind drift through unknowns without fear. You are not here to know it all. You are here to feel the wonder of not knowing, to explore gently, to ask without needing to answer. Even in dreams, curiosity plays. Let it lead you softly. Let it open the world in your sleep. One chimp whimpers, another leans closer. There is comfort in proximity. No need for language, no grand gesture, just nearness. A hand resting against another's shoulder, a pause in the movement of the group, a shared breath. Empathy doesn't wait for words, it flows through attention. One sees distress and without being told, moves toward it. Sometimes they groom, sometimes they simply sit close, their presence a balm. This is not mimicry, it is resonance. One heart noticing another's ache and choosing to stay nearby. You too have known this kind of understanding. A glance that told you someone saw your sadness. A quiet presence that said, "I'm here," without needing to speak. Tonight, feel the weight of that kindness. You do not have to explain yourself now. You do not have to perform your pain or translate your feelings into language. Just let them be. Let yourself be witnessed by memory, by the soft dark, by the universe itself. There is empathy in the night, in the hush, in the closeness of all things. You are not alone. Others have felt what you feel. Others have leaned close in your silence. Let that soothe you. Let that hold you. No need to speak. No need to be brave. Just rest in the comforts of quiet understanding. They do not run without reason. Paths are chosen, high ground, low escape, all part of the plan. A moment before movement, there is stillness, a calculation shaped by countless lived experiences. Which branch will bend, which vine will hold. The forest is not a blur to them, it is a blueprint. Each twist, each leap, each pause is informed by memory and adjusted by instinct. In predator's presence, the choice is not panic, but possibility. One ascends for safety, another vanishes low, hidden by fern and shadow. Even in pursuit, there is elegance. Detours that confuse, elevations that buy time, silent signals passed between kin. These are not random flurries of motion, but curated paths honed by survival and trust. You too make these quiet decisions every day. When to speak, when to leave, when to stay still and watch. Not everything is written down. Not every strategy is named, but it lives in you, in your subtle hesitations and your sudden clarity. Tonight, trust those internal paths. Let the choices you've made, the ones that shaped your escape and your arrival, rest easy beside you. You did not move through your forest by chance. You adapted, you learned, you remembered, and now, Even in stillness, that wisdom hums quietly in your bones. There is strategy in rest too. Let your breath be the next path chosen. Let each inhale be high ground. Let each exhale be safe retreat. You are not lost. You are listening to your own silent plan. They poke, prod, peel. A new object is not ignored. It is studied, dismantled, known. A seed is not simply glanced at. It is sniffed, tapped, rolled between fingers, chewed, reconsidered. The act of learning here is tactile, physical, immediate. A strange fruit becomes a laboratory. A shell becomes a riddle. A discarded item from a human world becomes something to be understood, not feared. The sharp edge of a rock might cut. The smooth surface of a nut might hide food. Curiosity is not a game. It is survival. And still, it is also play. A young chimp finds joy in the sound a leaf makes when it tears. An elder tests a new stick for balance. This is exploration, not through question, but through contact. You too have reached for the unknown. You have touched the unfamiliar, broken it open with thought and fingertip, tried to understand, and you still do. Tonight, you do not need to explain your curiosity. You only need to honor it. You're allowed to wonder. You're allowed to disassemble the world in your dreams. Let your mind be curious with no outcome in sight. Let it pick apart a puzzle, turn over a memory, peer gently into a forgotten hope. Not all discoveries are loud. Some arrive slowly, like the realization that you are safe now, that you can rest while your questions walk the forest paths without fear. Curiosity, after all, is just the soul reaching forward. One chimp whimpers, another leans closer. There is comfort in proximity. Without needing to solve or speak, a presence answers pain. There is no translation, no strategy, just recognition. One sees the tremble in another's frame, hears the small sound of ache, and moves in, closer, quieter. A shoulder brushes another, a hand rests. Grooming might begin, but not always. Sometimes presence is enough. The one in distress does not move away. There is permission here to feel, to be seen, to not be alone. These gestures do not erase the pain, but they soften it. They say, I notice, I stay. You too have known this, whether as comforter or comforted. A moment where words would have failed, but someone stayed. Their nearness became language. Their silence became shelter. Tonight, let yourself remember that kind of nearness, not physically perhaps, but emotionally. The warmth of another being willing to feel with you. Let that linger. Let it unfold beside your breath. You don't have to make sense of every ache. You don't have to shrink it or explain it away. Just let it be held by memory, by kindness, by the possibility that your pain is understood even when unspoken. Empathy is not performance, it is presence. And tonight, it's with you, resting beside you, listening, not asking anything more than that you allow yourself to be exactly as you are. When the rains come, they don't always hide. Some leap and laugh, wet fur, wide eyes. The forest darkens under the falling sky, leaves gleaming, droplets dancing across every surface. And in this soaked world, joy blooms, young ones bound from branch to branch, slipping slightly, squealing in delight. Water runs down their arms, down their backs, into their open hands. They taste it, they wear it, they shake it off like celebration. The elders may sit beneath broad leaves, dry for the moment, but even they watch with a calm recognition. This too is life. Rain does not only cleanse, it invites play. It invites togetherness. In the shimmer of stormlight, families draw closer. One brushes droplets from another's brow. Another offers a piece of soaked fruit, sharing what's sweet, even as the world drips. You've known this kind of moment, haven't you? When the world didn't ask you to flee discomfort, but to dance with it. When the weather turned, and instead of running, you let it wash over you. Tonight, think of that. The wildness of rain, not as danger, but as invitation. The freedom to not be dry, to not be perfect. Let it fall, this imagined rain. Let it run through your thoughts like cool silver. There's laughter in it. There's memory. There's a reminder that even in storms, joy can rise, soaked and shining. Let yourself leap with them, if only in your breath. Let the sky fall gently around you and smile. Dominance exists, but it shifts. Power is not always taken. Sometimes it is given. Within the troop, the order is not fixed but fluid, like a river responding to the shape of the land. One day, a certain individual leads, confident and calm. Another day, they yield, stepping back without resentment. Grace is not weakness here. It is wisdom. Those with true strength do not always need to show it. A quiet glance can settle tension. A well-timed gesture can restore calm. Older individuals, respected not for their force but for their memory, are often deferred to, and young ones, testing limits, are met not just with correction, but with patience. This is not a kingdom, it is a choreography. Power moves through the group like wind through trees, seen only in the way things bend. You've lived this too, in your own world of unspoken rules and shifting roles. You've stepped forward when needed, and stepped aside when it was kinder. You've held space for others. You've accepted support without shame. Tonight, let go of the idea that you must always lead or always follow. Let yourself float in the grace of shared understanding. There is strength in yielding. There is nobility in knowing when not to press. You do not have to fight for your place here. You already belong. Rest in that truth. Let the hierarchy dissolve. Let it become harmony. Let it carry you gently, like a current that knows exactly where you are meant to be, waiting in stillness for fruit to fall, a test of time and trust. There is no rushing the ripeness, no forcing the yield. They sit quiet beneath the tree, watching, sometimes for hours. Others grow restless, wander off, but some stay. They know the sound of readiness, the faint creak of stem, the soft shift of weight before gravity wins. When the fruit drops, it is sweet, worth the wait, and they do not lunge. They move with calm certainty, as if patience has made the reward more sacred. This is not laziness, it is intelligence, the wisdom to know that not all things are better when chased. Some must come to you. You've known this too, waiting for clarity, for healing, for love. You've sat beneath your own trees, unsure if anything would fall, and sometimes nothing did, but sometimes, unexpectedly, something beautiful landed beside you. Tonight, trust in that quiet kind of wisdom. You do not have to reach for everything. You do not have to climb, grasp, or force. Let the branches sway. Let the fruit ripen in its own time. Let stillness be your strength. Even in sleep, you are waiting with grace. Even in silence, you are showing the kind of brilliance that doesn't clamor, doesn't rush, but knows, deep down, that good things often fall gently, without warning, into open hands. Rest there, wait there, and when the gift arrives, let it be enough. Let it be yours. At night, they weave a cradle in the trees. Sleep is soft, rocking with leaves. High above the forest floor, each chimp selects branches with care, bending and folding them into a gentle basin. It isn't haphazard, It is ritual, passed down like a quiet song. The nest must support and embrace. Some line it with leaves, others press it into shape with practiced hands. When it is ready, they curl within, not just to rest, but to dream. The canopy above whispers and breezes, and the branches sway like a lullaby. Around them, the forest hums with night. Insects sing, owls blink from far perches. But in these nests, there is peace. The body unwinds, the mind drifts, eyes closed not in fear, but in trust. You, too, have built your own version of this. Pillows shaped just right, blankets folded into familiarity, the softness of a space that holds you. Tonight, as you lie there, imagine weaving your own cradle again. Each breath tightens a branch. Each sigh presses the leaves. You are safe here, held in something you made, something known. Let the tree rock you gently. Let the dreams arrive like distant birds, light and quiet. Sleep is not surrender. It is craftsmanship. It is the nest you build for your soul. And tonight, it is ready. A hand placed gently on another's back, not command, connection. In the quiet moments, communication doesn't need sound. One chimp reaches for another, brushes fingers down a spine, rests palm to shoulder. It is not an order. It is a question, a greeting, an offering of presence. Grooming becomes more than hygiene. It becomes a conversation, a rhythm of care. One removes a burr from another's fur, not out of duty, but devotion. The touch is slow, deliberate, thoughtful. It says, I see you. I choose to tend to you. Even without eyes meeting, the message is clear. You've felt this, haven't you? The hand that held yours in silence, the arm draped across your back in a moment of stillness, not to fix, not to lead, but simply to say, I'm here. You are not alone. Tonight, remember that kind of language, the unspoken warmth. Let your body recall the comfort of being touched with kindness. Let your breath settle into that memory. No performance, no translation, just presence, just quiet companionship. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to earn affection. You're already held in ways beyond words. Let that truth rest on your skin like a palm against your back. Gentle, unmoving, enough. Anger flares, but so does apology. Reconciliation is part of their story. A dispute breaks the quiet. A shove, a shout, teeth bared in frustration, but it passes. It does not linger like a wound. Soon, one approaches the other again, not in defiance, but in softness. An outstretched hand, a bowed head, a quiet sound that is neither plea nor demand, just presence. The other, once tense, releases. Forgiveness arrives not with ceremony, but with proximity. They sit side by side again, tension gone like a passing cloud. This too is intelligence, the wisdom to return, the grace to accept. Conflict, after all, is natural. What matters is the way back. You've known this too. The sting of words, the silence after rupture, the vulnerability of reaching out once more. And you've known the relief of being met with gentleness. Tonight, let go of the belief that mistakes are final. Let go of the myth that you must always be calm to be kind. Emotions rise, but so can healing, so can repair. Let the memory of forgiveness settle into your chest. Let it ease the sharp edges. You are allowed to be both the one who felt hurt and the one who softened. You are allowed to change mid-step, to return, to be welcomed. There is no shame in conflict, only the chance to come close again in quiet understanding. Let that closeness be your comfort now. Let it hold you as you drift. They do not just patrol. They remember borders like scars and songs, paths etched by footsteps, echoes of past conflict, places where danger once hissed through the underbrush. These are not forgotten. A bend in the trail may stir tension. A scent on the wind might still call for silence, but also there are trees tied to triumphs, stones passed by generations. Territory is not just about space, it is memory, it is story. When they move through the forest, they carry that story with them. They pause at old fig trees, linger near fallen logs, check the same hidden turnings with almost reverent care. Some places call for vigilance, others for calm. It is more than habit. It is history woven into movement. You've walked your own such paths, past corners thick with feeling, streets lined with memory. Tonight, picture your own map of remembered places, not drawn in ink, but in feeling. A corner where joy lingers, a hallway still echoing with old footsteps. You are more than your present position. You are shaped by where you've stood, where you've turned, what you've chosen to return to. Let your breath trace that map. Let your body honor those borders, not as burdens, but as landmarks. The mind holds more territory than we see, and in that quiet, unlit forest within you, every step is part of the remembering. Let that remembering cradle you now, like a familiar trail leading softly home. When a chimpanzee watches, it doesn't merely see, it infers, anticipates, imagines what might come next. Eyes track not just motion, but meaning. A hand reaches, but for what? A face shifts, but why? Behind their gaze is a mind running silent calculations, not mechanical, not detached, but curious, engaged. They follow more than shapes. They follow thought. You can see it, that pause, that tilt of the head, the way the eyes dart not to movement, but to intention. They are not just observers. They are readers of the invisible, and sometimes watchers of watchers. One notices being noticed. Layers of awareness spiral, quiet and intricate. You've known this feeling. Someone looking not at you, but into you. A glance that understood your mood before you spoke, or your own gaze, drawn to someone's hesitation, someone's unspoken decision. Tonight, let your thoughts move like those eyes, not hurried, not searching for flaw, but following softly. Let your imagination watch without judgment. Let it wonder. The world, even now, is full of gestures not yet finished, meanings still unfolding. You do not need to define them. You only need to see with that deeper kind of sight, the one that listens with its whole self. In this moment, let perception stretch like a hand, not to grasp, but to feel the shape of what might be. Gaze gently inward, watch with kindness. Let your thoughts move like light on leaves, soft, curious, and wide. They tease, they trick, not cruel, just clever, playing with expectation. A leaf placed just so, a sudden leap from behind, a fake cry to draw attention. It's not random, it's crafted. One chimp steals a fruit only to offer it back with exaggerated innocence. Another dangles above, pretending to drop a twig, watching for a startled flinch. Laughter, though silent to our ears, trembles through the group in body language. Ripples of delight, of surprise recognized and shared. Even the very young learn quickly. To surprise is to connect. To mislead, gently, is to engage. The understory becomes a stage. Shadows, props, movement, script. You've felt this too, in the way you once hid behind doors, to say boo or feign sleep before a giggle gave you away. Humor lives not in words but in timing, in recognition, in shared surprise. Tonight, Let your mind drift to those light-hearted moments, the ones where cleverness danced instead of competed, the play of wit without harm, the joy of noticing the trick and joining in the smile. You are not too old for wonder, not too weary for play. Even now, the world invites your laughter. Let your thoughts skip a little. Let them curve where expected to go straight. Let your breath mimic a grin held just behind the lips. Rest doesn't have to be solemn. Let it be light. Let it be a game the night plays just for you, not to fool, but to delight. Nests are not random. They are crafted, tested, softened, architecture in green. With each branch chosen, each leaf tucked, a plan unfolds. Chimpanzees do not simply lie where they land. They measure, they modify. A branch must bend, but not break. A hollow must cradle, not collapse. They know which boughs bear weight and which ones will snap under night stillness. Every night, a new home is made. Not laziness, but wisdom. Freshness ensures strength. Each construction is a moment of renewal, a resetting of the body's trust in the world it rests upon. There is care in this repetition and creativity too. Nests adapt to slope, to height, to wind. Each one a soft reply to the evening's terrain. It is instinct, yes, but also intelligence, the kind that knows comfort must be made, not hoped for. You, too, arrange your surroundings before rest. The pillow fluffed just so, the blanket adjusted to cover your shoulder, but not your toes. The door closed, the light dimmed. These are your branches, your green. Your bed is your answer to gravity, to vulnerability. Let it hold you like a nest would. Let your body trust what your hands have prepared. The day is folded up now, and you have built your shelter from its noise. Sleep beneath this structure of small choices, each one a quiet act of self-care. Tonight, rest as they do, in something made by your own design, strong enough to hold your softness. Two pairs of eyes meet in silence. Something passes, unseen but felt. A pause in motion, a soft stillness. They do not speak, yet an entire sentence seems to unfold in that moment. Maybe it is reassurance, maybe recognition, maybe a memory stirs between them, and the gaze carries it forward like a hand passing a note. In chimpanzees, these shared looks are not empty stares. They are filled with attention, with emotion, with subtle understanding. An infant meets its mother's gaze and settles. A friend glances over after a squabble and finds the answer waiting in the other's expression. These eyes don't need words, they need presence. You've lived this, haven't you? That quiet meeting of eyes across a room or across a table where nothing had to be said because everything already was. Tonight, let your gaze soften even behind closed eyelids. Let your memory conjure the eyes that once held you steady, or the ones you offered calm to. Let those unspoken connections settle around you now, like the hush after music. Sleep does not need sound. Understanding does not need voice. The world within you still glows with these shared moments. In this quiet, you are not alone. Somewhere, someone once saw you and stayed. Somewhere you did the same. That meeting, brief or lasting, still lingers. Let it linger here, now, gently keeping watch as your thoughts slow and your breath deepens into the dark. They wait at the termite mound, not in boredom, but with intent. Hunger comes with planning. One holds a stick, not idly, but prepared. Another watches the surface, eyes tracing the movement beneath. Patience hums between them, not passive, but poised. They do not dig at random. They do not lunge without aim. Instead, they wait for the right moment, the right sound, the small shift that signals opportunity. When the time comes, the tool is inserted, twisted, pulled out with care. Termites cling to the stick, and a meal is lifted from within the soil. This is not just instinct. This is foresight, anticipation, the mind casting itself forward, imagining the shape of success before it arrives. You've known this too, the quiet gathering before action, the mental rehearsal of what will be needed, what might unfold. Tonight, let your thoughts practice stillness, not with emptiness, but with quiet readiness. Let your mind sit by its own version of a mound, a task, a dream, a question, and wait without panic. You are not doing nothing. You are preparing. Even in sleep, the mind works beneath the surface. Let that be enough. Let intention replace urgency. Let presence outlast pressure. Action will come when it is time. For now, there is value in the watching, in the holding, in the waiting with purpose. Rest is not the absence of motion. It is the root of it. And tonight, you are already in motion by being still. They notice when rewards are unequal. Emotion flares, not envy, but awareness. A grape for one, a cucumber for another. The difference is not lost. Frustration stirs, not because of hunger, but because fairness has been breached. This is not instinct alone. This is judgment, a sense of balance that goes beyond survival. In chimpanzees, this sensitivity to fairness suggests a mind that compares, evaluates, remembers. They understand when an outcome feels unjust, and their reactions speak volumes: a refusal, a protest, a quiet withdrawal, each gesture a mirror of inner recognition. It's not about the food, it's about what it means. You felt it too, not just the sting of being overlooked, but the awareness that something wasn't equal. Tonight, let that part of you rest, not in bitterness, but in gentle knowing. The world is not always fair, but your response to it is part of your intelligence. Let it soften now. Let your breath find equilibrium where life didn't offer it. Fairness begins inside, in how you treat yourself, in how you balance your energy, your boundaries, your hopes. In this quiet space, there is no contest, no unequal measure, only even breath, steady rhythm, a fairness built of rest, not reward. You do not need to prove your worth tonight. You are not in comparison. You are in stillness, and here, everything you need is yours. Let that truth settle in, like balance returning to a scale long tilted. Let it hold you. A gentle gesture once given is not forgotten. Memory carries care across time. A grooming hand offered in a moment of calm. A shared morsel passed without request. A touch that soothed rather than claimed. These linger. In chimpanzees, kindness is not a fleeting act. It's a thread that ties one moment to the next, one individual to another. And when the time comes, that memory returns, not as debt, but as connection. They remember who helped. They return warmth where warmth was once received. Even in silence, bonds form through these echoes of compassion. You've known this too, how a moment of kindness from long ago still glows in your mind like a lantern. Someone once sat with you, listened, smiled, or simply stayed. Tonight, let that memory return. Let it wrap around your chest, like a blanket worn soft by time. You do not need to name it, only to feel it. That care was real, and it shaped something in you. Let yourself give that back now, not to someone else, but to yourself. Offer your own heart the same quiet presence, the same understanding. Let your breath be that returning gesture. Let it remind your body that it is still held, still worthy. The past is not gone. It echoes in the care we carry. And tonight, You're allowed to rest in the memory of being loved, even if only for a moment, and in the knowledge that it mattered. At dawn, there is a rhythm. Stretch, groom, move like breath, predictable and shared. The forest wakes not in a rush, but in unfolding. One chimpanzee rises, back arched gently. Another yawns, wide and slow. Then come the fingers, tender, methodical, smoothing fur, checking for what the night might have left behind. It is not hygiene alone. It is connection, reassurance, a way of saying, you're still here, and so am I. This ritual, repeated day after day, gives shape to time, not measured by clocks, but by care, by the familiarity of beginning. You have your rituals too, the way light enters your room, the sequence of motions that prepare you for day or night, a certain way of turning the sheets, of letting the air settle. These are not meaningless. They are anchors. They are your way of remembering who you are each time you return from sleep. Tonight, let your own rhythm guide you, slow, quiet, known. No need to invent anything new. Let your stretch be enough. Let the brushing of your hair, the dimming of your light, be part of the choreography of rest. Let it tell your body that it's time, that it's safe, that others have followed this path of rhythm before you. In that slow beginning, there is peace. You do not have to prepare for tomorrow. Just arrive into this moment. Let it hold you like morning does, gently, again and again. Sometimes a glance is enough. Posture changes. Tension deflates like a sigh. A stiff spine softens. Averted eyes speak peace. In the forest, where words don't exist, gestures say everything. One chimp approaches with raised shoulders, but the other shifts, just slightly, just enough. A small pivot, a turned face, an arm lowered, and the moment passes. No need for a fight. No need for raised voices or flung objects. Conflict becomes something that doesn't need to happen. This isn't cowardice, it's wisdom, a knowing that energy saved is strength kept, that peace, when chosen, is more powerful than dominance declared. You've known this moment too, when you walked away, when you chose not to reply, when you let silence win because it was softer. Let yourself feel that now, the quiet victory of not reacting, the strength in deflating the storm before it arrives. As you breathe here in stillness, know that your calm is not inaction. It is awareness. It is your body telling you that rest matters more than noise. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw loosen. You are not in danger. You do not need to defend. Not every moment asks for power. Some moments simply ask to be released. Let tonight be one of those moments. Let the tension leave your limbs the way conflict leaves the clearing, quietly, completely, and without a trace. You have already chosen peace, and peace, in turn, has chosen you. Fear is real, from snakes, from silence, but so is courage learned. A sudden rustle in the leaves, and the group freezes. Eyes dart, muscles tighten, but one steps closer, not away. One peeks, investigates, learns. The fear remains, but it's met with curiosity. It changes shape, becomes something to study instead of flee from. In chimpanzees, fear is not just instinct, it's also memory. A snake once seen becomes a lesson remembered, but so does safety. A calm space once found becomes a place of return. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the slow, repeated choice to meet it, to edge a little closer, to try again. You've felt this too. The tremble before a decision, the pause before speaking, the breath before facing what once hurt. Let that memory rise now, not to disturb you, but to remind you. You have done hard things. You have entered your own version of the dark and stayed. And when you didn't, when you turned back, even that was wisdom. Tonight, let the shadows in your mind soften. They're not monsters, they are shapes made from memory. And memory can change. Let the fear pass through, not as a storm, but as a cloud. Let it come and go, knowing you are still here, still breathing, still safe. You are not made of fear alone. You are made of what came after it. And what comes now, this moment, this breath, is peace earned. Faced with a challenge, they adapt. A longer stick, a sharper stone. The goal is the same: food retrieved, a nut cracked, a task solved, but the path bends with the problem. Chimpanzees don't always repeat what worked. They look again, try again, reshape the solution in their hands. A termite mound too deep, the tool is lengthened. A fruit too tough, a rock becomes a hammer. This isn't luck, it's invention. Intelligence expressed not in words, but in action, adjustment, experimentation. You've done this too, maybe not with sticks and stones, but with ideas, with choices, with your own hands making sense of a difficult day. Let that memory return of the time you figured it out, not all at once, but little by little. Tonight, let your mind stretch like that stick. Let it reach without strain, without force. The challenge of sleep is softer than termites, but it too asks for patience, for presence, for trying something new. Let your breath be the tool. Let your stillness be the solution. You do not need to think your way through this night. You only need to remain open to the shape it takes. Adaptation isn't a flurry of movement. It's a quiet kind of resilience. And in this moment, with this breath, you are already adjusting, already changing shape to meet the dark. Let yourself rest in that, not as failure, not as uncertainty, but as the gentle work of becoming. Mothers soothe with fingers, not sound. Pressure, rhythm, closeness. This is comfort. A palm resting on a small back, a thumb brushing through tangled fur, the slow press of body against body in the hush of the canopy. These touches speak in lullabies no ear can hear, but every body understands. There's no song, no hum, no cradle rocking, just presence, just warmth. In chimpanzee mothers, comfort is given skin to skin, heartbeat to heartbeat. You've felt this too, perhaps long ago, or maybe just yesterday. A hand on yours, a hug that lasted longer than the words that caused it, a silence filled not with absence, but with care. Tonight, let that kind of lullaby return, not in notes or melodies, but in sensation, the weight of the blanket, the way your fingers curl gently toward your chest, the memory of someone once holding you close without needing to speak. Let your body listen to that. Let your breath be the quiet rhythm your heart follows. No one is asking you for anything right now. There is nothing to perform. You are not needed for action, only for being. Let yourself be held by the air around you, by the stillness, by the invisible embrace of sleep itself. This is the lullaby tonight, not music, but nearness, not words, but warmth. Rest in that closeness, even if it's just your own hand resting near your chest. That too is enough. Even when motionless, they are thinking, watching the wind, dreaming perhaps. A chimpanzee sits beneath the tree, eyes half-lidded, hands resting on knees, and though nothing moves, everything is alive inside. The leaves flutter, the breeze carries scent, a bird calls in the distance, and the mind, unhurried, drifts. What do they see behind those still eyes? What echoes of memory, what quiet rehearsals, what floating pictures of places and faces? Science may not know for certain, but anyone who has sat beneath a tree in silence knows. Stillness does not mean emptiness. You felt this, staring out a window, lying on your back, the ceiling becoming a sky, thought like mist, feeling like tide. Tonight, you're allowed that same space. You do not need to solve, to plan, to strive. You may simply rest and watch the breeze move through your own mind. Let the images come, if they wish, memories, fragments, faces, or let them pass. Let your thoughts meander, not toward answers, but toward nothing in particular. That is enough. Even in rest, your mind knows what to do. It sorts, it drifts, it breathes. You are not wasting time. You are flowing through it. Like the chimpanzee, you are both still and alive. And this is thinking too, the soft, slow kind, the kind that dreams are made from. Let your body stay still. Let your mind wander. The night understands both. Children mimic a specific motion, a touch of the chin, culture passed by hand. A young chimp watches an elder crack a nut with a stone, then tries the same. Not perfectly, not at first, but again and again. A flick of the wrist, a certain way of grooming, a dance passed down, not with words, but with watching. This is not instinct alone. This is inheritance, learned, refined, remembered. One generation folding into the next, not through stories told, but through gestures repeated. You've known this too. The way you stir your tea, like your mother once did. The way your hand rises when you think, like your teacher. We are made of echoes, and each movement we carry holds someone else's hand. Tonight, feel that lineage in your fingers, the way your breath settles, perhaps the way someone once taught you. The position you lie in, familiar because it's been passed down in silence. You are not alone in your habits. They are gifts, tiny inheritances of touch. Let that bring comfort. You are part of something long, something remembered without needing to be remembered. Let your hands soften. Let your breath move slow. You are not inventing how to rest. You are continuing it. Like the young chimp watching, trying, learning. You are shaped by kindness, passed through time, and in sleep you give it back. A gesture into the dark, quiet, and full of belonging. They move as one without signal, a shared decision, like flock or tide. One rises and others follow, not in mimicry, but in understanding. A shift in the air, a subtle glance, and suddenly the group flows as if choreographed. No voice, no command, just a rhythm held between minds. In chimpanzees, this synchrony is not forced. It is felt. It emerges from attention, from awareness of each other's breath, posture, pause. You've known this too, walking beside someone and turning the same way without asking, reaching for the same object at once, the comfort of shared silence where words aren't needed. Tonight, rest in that gentle connection. Even if you are alone in the room, you are not separate from this rhythm. There are minds out there, in trees, in oceans, in cities, that move in quiet harmony. Your breath belongs to that larger tide. Let yourself be carried. There's no urgency here, no need to lead or follow, just a shared drift. As your eyes soften and your limbs grow still, know that somewhere others are doing the same, sinking into sleep, moving into stillness, a quiet migration into rest. You are part of that movement, part of that decision made without speech. So let your thoughts slow, let your body follow. You do not have to decide everything alone. The night is already carrying you, softly, in synchrony with the world around you. Each voice carries a signature, a call that says, I am here. I am me. Among chimpanzees, the same sound is never quite the same from two mouths. A pant hoot, a whoop, a call through the trees, always unique, always personal. Not just noise, but identity. A voice is not only heard, it is known. When one calls, others respond with familiarity. That is her sound. That is his rhythm. Even in the chaos of the forest, these voices rise like stars in a sky, distinct, steady, recognized. You have a voice like that too. Whether you speak often or rarely, your sound has a shape no one else can match. Let that be a comfort tonight. Even in silence, your identity hums. You do not need to say anything to be known. You are already present in the texture of your breath, in the weight of your being. Think now of the people who have known you just by your voice, the way it lifts, pauses, softens. That recognition is a kind of love, a remembering. And now, let the world listen to you, not through speech, but through stillness. Let your breath be your signature. Let your exhale say, I am here, I am me. Even the wind outside carries your presence. Even in dreams, you are heard. Let go of the need to explain, to perform. Tonight, you are already understood, and your voice, quiet now, still sings. Not always loud, sometimes just a leaf offered. Connection begins small. In the forest canopy, courtship does not always come with fanfare. A male chimp may approach with care, reaching out slowly, eyes lowered, hands open. A simple gift, a leaf, a bit of moss, something held out not for use, but for meaning. This too is language. This too is longing. The dance of connection often starts in gestures so quiet they could be missed. A step closer, a moment of stillness shared. You've known this as well. The glance held a little longer, the hand that brushed yours in passing. Words were not needed then. Tonight, remember that smallness is not weakness, that beginnings are often quiet, that affection, real and deep, sometimes arrives like a leaf placed in your palm. Gentle, unexpected, full of intention. Let yourself feel the softness of that. Let your heart loosen around the memory of tenderness offered without demand. You do not need to chase or shout. You are already seen. Let this moment be a courtship of calm. The dark around you is not empty. It is full of presence, the blanket, the breath, the silence, all offering themselves to you. Let yourself receive it. Let connection bloom not in noise, but in nearness. Tonight, you are being offered rest, a small leaf from the forest of sleep. Take it gently. Let it lead you into dreams. They choose where to see. Vantage is not just escape, but knowledge. In the wild, chimpanzees ascend not only for safety, but for vision. A high branch becomes a balcony over their world, a place to listen, to scan, to pause with purpose. From the canopy, the forest reveals its patterns, rustles that matter, shadows that shift. Each climb is a quiet calculation, a mapping of threat and opportunity, a way to understand the unseen, and perhaps, for a moment, to feel a little more in control of the unpredictable. You've done this too. Not with trees maybe, but with elevation. The pull to a rooftop, a hillside, a quiet room where you can look out and think. To rise above is not to run away. It is to reflect. Tonight, let your mind seek the high ground. Let your thoughts climb softly toward perspective. Look out over your day, not with judgment, but with distance. See the shape of your hours from above. Notice what mattered and what can be set down now. You are not stuck on the ground. Even in sleep, you can lift. Your breath can carry you higher. Your stillness is not defeat. It is vantage. So lie back, close your eyes and rise. There is peace in knowing the view is wide, that you do not need to act, only to witness. And from this gentle height you may finally rest. Among friends, they sleep deeper. Trust thickens the branches beneath. When chimpanzees curl into slumber, they do so in nests they've built with care. But more than the leaves beneath them, it's the presence of others that grants true rest. A companion nearby, breathing slowly, is a signal it's safe now. The forest may be loud, but the danger feels distant when familiar warmth surrounds. In the hush of shared sleep, hearts slow together, muscles uncoil, dreams unfold without guard. You've known this too, the feeling of sleeping better beside someone who brings calm, the way a room changes when it holds a trusted presence. Even tonight, if you're alone, the memory of those comforts can return, the feeling of being watched over, even when no one speaks. Let that trust wrap around you now. Let it settle into the mattress, the pillow, the air. You are not exposed. You are not vulnerable. You are among the unseen presence of kindnesses remembered, of bonds that still echo. Feel how much softer your breath becomes when you allow for safety. Let your shoulders lower. Let your body believe it's okay to let go. You are not alert. You are not waiting. You are resting in a place shaped by trust. The forest inside you has quieted. The branches hold. The air is still. Sleep deeply now, the way only those held by peace can sleep. A mother may mourn a child long gone. The mind holds space for what is missing. In the silence that follows loss, there is still presence, not of the one who left, but of the love that remains. Chimpanzees have been seen returning to the places where the absent once sat, sitting beside the empty, reaching toward what's no longer there. They do not forget. Their grief is not loud, but it lingers like smoke in a quiet grove. You've known this ache too, the weight of absence, the way a room can feel full of someone who isn't in it, the invisible shape they leave behind. Tonight, let yourself acknowledge what is missing, not to awaken pain, but to honor what was real. You carry those absences not as wounds, but as rooms inside you, spaces where love once lived and still echoes. There is no need to fill them. Let them stay open, tender, held. You are not weak for remembering. You are whole for it. Let that memory soften now, not sharpen. Let it become mist, not knife. You are allowed to miss. You are allowed to feel. But you are also allowed to rest. Those you've loved, the ones you think of now, would want that. Not forgetting, but peace. So rest now, with space in your heart for the missing. Let that space be gentle. Let it breathe. Let sleep come, like a mother returning to the nest, quiet, familiar, full of care. They know the branch will bend. They know the nut must be cracked, not by accident, but logic. Chimpanzees do not stumble blindly into problem solving. They pause, they examine, they learn from cause and consequence. A stone is lifted, not out of curiosity alone, but with intention. A twig is selected for its shape. A fruit is tested for ripeness, not just by smell, but by feel, by memory, by comparison. This is not guessing. This is understanding. And when something works, when the stick draws ants from a hollow, when the rock breaks open the shell, it is remembered, repeated, improved. The world is not a mystery to them. It is a puzzle they approach with quiet logic. You've done this too. The way you learned which cup keeps tea warm longest, which path home is the most silent. You test, adjust, adapt. Tonight, let that part of you rest. The part that solves, calculates, measures. You've done enough for now. The twig has reached the honey. The shell is open. Let the world be simple again. Let your breath be enough. There is no problem to fix in this moment, just the rhythm of lungs, the comfort of stillness, the knowing that some things, even in the dark, make sense. Sleep now, not in confusion, but in quiet logic. The day's questions can wait. You've understood more than you think, and for now, that's enough. They do not rush. They move with the forest's own tempo, slow, cyclical, aware. Chimpanzees rise with the light and rest with the hush. Their hours are shaped not by clocks, but by sunbeams, by shadows, by the scent of ripening fruit. The forest is not a place they hurry through. It is their rhythm. They pause often. They sit still for minutes, sometimes hours, watching, grooming, resting, a pace that listens as much as it moves. There is no rush to get somewhere when the journey itself is the life. You too can feel that pace if you let yourself. The soft unfolding of a day without urgency, the permission to linger, the comfort of not chasing. Tonight, let forest time hold you. Let your breath align with something older than alarms. Let your body remember that it was never made to sprint endlessly. You were not built for constant urgency. You were shaped, like the chimps, by trees, by dusk, by the slow curl of leaves. So take this moment not as a break from time, but as a return to it. Let the cycles speak. Inhale, exhale, wake, sleep, effort, rest. You are moving now with the old pulse of the world, a rhythm deeper than tasks, slower than thought. Let it lull you. Let it cradle your thoughts. Let sleep come not as an interruption, but as the next step in the circle. The forest is not counting hours, and neither are you. Young ones learn boundaries by testing. A bite, a yelp, a lesson. In chimpanzee play, there is laughter. Yes, real laughter, and also teaching. A young chimp pulls too hard, and the other squeals, retreats. The lesson is learned. Too much. Not that way. Try again, gentler. This is not just fun. It's rehearsal for life. Through play, they discover what is safe, what is allowed, where the edge lies, and they remember, they adjust. Their future kindness, their future caution begins here. In the tumbling, the teasing, the forgiveness. You've learned this way too. The games of childhood were not just games. They were maps. They taught you about closeness, about respect, about when to stop. And even now, you're still learning. Every interaction is a kind of play, a chance to feel the weight of your actions, to listen to the feedback of another. Let that bring you peace tonight. You do not need to be perfect. You are allowed to test, to try, to refine. Let sleep be a return to that space of safe discovery. Let your dreams be a playground where nothing is final and everything is softened by laughter. The lessons of kindness live in repetition, in patience, in touch. You are still learning, and that is enough. Rest now, knowing that even in sleep, your heart is practicing gentleness. The night does not judge. It teaches in silence, in softness, in dreams. They remember slights, but over time, proximity becomes possibility again. In the chimpanzee world, tension lingers, a stolen fruit, a shove, a moment of betrayal. These things are not forgotten quickly, but neither are they permanent. The forest is not wide enough for endless separation, and slowly, almost imperceptibly, distance gives way to shared space, a grooming offer, a softened glance, an invitation to sit nearby once more. Forgiveness doesn't come as a grand gesture. It arrives in pieces, one breath at a time, and this slowness is its strength. It means the trust, when rebuilt, will have stronger roots. You've felt this too, the weight of holding on, and the strange relief of letting go, not all at once, but in layers. You don't have to rush toward resolution. You only have to be willing to remain in the same emotional forest, to share air again, to soften the grip of resentment. Tonight, rest in that quiet uncoiling. Let your own grudges loosen just enough to breathe. You do not need to forget. You only need to allow space for gentler thoughts to arrive. Healing is not loud, it's not immediate, but it is possible. And in the soft shadows of sleep, it may already be happening. Let the memory of old pain drift a little farther out. Let peace, slow, patient peace, begin to circle back. Not because you must, but because you can. And because sleep comes easier when the heart isn't holding its fists so tightly. A shared moment of joy ripples outward. The group responds in kind. One chimp laughs, a breathy pant, a bouncing motion. And suddenly, others join in. The sound spreads like sunlight between branches, brightening the morning air. Laughter is not random. It's a signal, a thread, a small celebration of connection. Through it, they affirm safety, belonging, delight. A game was good, a touch was kind. The world, for a moment, feels generous, and so they echo. You've seen this in people too, how one laugh can tip the mood of a room, how joy multiplies when shared. It is not just sound, it is bonding. Chimpanzees use this echo to affirm alliances, to ease tensions, to draw close without needing words. You do the same in your own way. Tonight, remember a laugh that made you feel seen. Let its warmth return, not loud, but steady. Let it curl in your chest like a soft candle. Sleep doesn't need silence. Sometimes it welcomes the memory of joy, the echo of connection. Feel how laughter lingers in the body, even long after the moment has passed. It reminds you that you have been part of something bright, that others have seen you, played with you, smiled beside you. Let that echo guide you now. Let it fill the quiet spaces. Let it smooth the edges of the day. You are not alone. Laughter leaves traces, and tonight, those traces are gently holding you. Food is not always hoarded. Sometimes it is passed, but only to certain hands. In the chimpanzee world, sharing is not universal. It is intentional. A piece of fruit is offered not to the nearest, but to the chosen, a friend, a mother, an ally. This is strategy, yes, but also intimacy. To share is to invest, to say, we are something. You matter in my survival. This is not cold calculation, but warm precision. Their choices are shaped by memory. Who helped, who harmed, who stayed. And so the hand that receives is not random. You've done this too. A bite offered across a table, a favor given not because you had to, but because you felt the bond. Tonight, let that memory of giving return, the warmth of choosing to nourish someone else or being chosen. You have been part of that sacred exchange. Let it settle into your breath now. You do not need to give anything more today. You've done enough. Let yourself be the one who receives, who is quietly handed something soft in the dark. Trust that you are worthy of this gentle offering, that you've built bonds, whether you see them now or not. The night passes things between us all, calm, stillness, dreams. Let it place something good in your hands. No demand, just a gift passed across the hush. Sleep now. You are held in a circle of quiet generosity. They return to trees that bloom just once a year. They know and they wait. The chimpanzees move through their forest with a memory tuned to time. They do not carry calendars. They do not watch the moon. And yet they remember a certain tree will swell with fruit not today, not tomorrow, but when the rains have come and gone, when the air feels a certain way, when the ground hums with a rhythm only they seem to hear, and so they return, not by mistake, but by knowing. Their navigation is not linear, it is circular, seasonal, alive. This is more than memory. It is partnership with place, a trust in the forest patterns. You have this too, somewhere within you, that sense of when the light changes, when the year turns, when a familiar scent calls up something old. Let that instinct return tonight, not to plan, not to predict, but to remember that you are part of the turning world. Seasons do not hurry, they arrive, they unfold. So let your body return to its own cycles. Let rest find you like fruit in its season, expected, sweet, right on time. You are not late, you are not lost. The tree you seek is blooming even now in some corner of your mind, and sleep, soft and ripe, is yours to return to. Just like the chimps returning to their tree, you are guided not by force, but by the quiet compass of trust. When storms uproot the forest, they shift. New nests, new tools, minds stretch gently. The chimpanzees do not cling to the old just because it was familiar. When a branch falls, they find another. When a fruit is scarce, they try a different kind. They adapt, not with panic, but with grace. A new stick becomes a new tool. A new trail becomes a new path. Their intelligence is flexible, soft, patient. They do not resist the shape of change. They move with it, and you too can learn this rhythm. Not to force your way through every disruption, but to lean into it, to bend, to listen for what else might be possible. Change doesn't need to shout. It can whisper. It can offer you a different branch to rest on, a new angle of light. Even now, as you lie here, something in you is adapting, your thoughts softening, your breath settling into a slower pattern. The day may have brought uncertainty, but the night is offering stability. The forest shifts, and still the chimps sleep. So can you. Let what fell stay fallen. Let what's missing be an opening. Rest in the knowledge that you will find your next branch, that your mind too can stretch gently without breaking, and that sleep is not an escape from change, but part of your way through it. Close your eyes. The forest is still here, just different, just new, just enough. They don't walk aimlessly. Paths unfold like remembered songs beneath their feet. A chimpanzee steps forward, not with hesitation, but with quiet certainty. The forest, dense and winding, is not a maze to them. It is a melody they know by heart. A bend in the trail means water nearby. A patch of bark means a cache of insects. They navigate not by landmarks alone, but by rhythm, by the feeling of a place, the weight of a memory, the hush of familiar air. Their movement is composed, confident, purposeful. You move through life this way, more often than you know. Guided by felt knowledge, by the soft song of experience. Tonight, let that memory rise, not the loud thoughts, but the quiet ones, the ones that know what direction feels like peace. Let your own path emerge beneath you, not to take you anywhere, but to remind you that you are not lost. You never were. Even now, your breath is retracing a pattern it's known forever. Inhale, pause, exhale, like footfall on forest floor. Let the day fall away behind you. Let the mind's noise settle into rhythm. You're not wandering, you're remembering, and the place you're heading, this quiet, restful clearing, is already underfoot. Trust the path you cannot see. It's yours. Let it carry you gently into sleep. In a sudden downpour, they huddle, patient. There is no protest, only presence. The rain comes without warning, thick and cold, soaking leaves and fur alike. But there is no panic in the chimpanzees' movementing, no scramble for shelter beyond the nearest tree. Instead, they pause, they gather close, they wait. Their stillness is not resignation, it is wisdom. The storm cannot be fought. It will pass when it chooses. So they breathe, they blink, they let the water fall. You know this lesson too, though you may forget it in the noise of urgency. Some discomforts cannot be avoided. They can only be endured quietly. Tonight, let yourself remember how to wait, not in frustration, but in calm. Let the day's storms fall outside of you now. Let your thoughts stop trying to fix the rain. Just be, just breathe. There is strength in stillness. There is power in choosing not to struggle against what simply is. The chimpanzees teach this, not with words, but with presence, wet, shivering, quiet, and yet peaceful. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to rest under the branches of your own patience. Sleep comes not when you force it, but when you stop resisting the weather of your mind. Let it pour, let it pass. You are not lost in the storm. You are waiting it out, wisely, bravely, gently, and soon the sun or sleep will return. One cries out, others feel it. Empathy moves like wind through the group. A shriek, a whimper, a sudden startle, and nearby chimps turn, respond, gather. The emotion doesn't stay in one body. It spreads invisibly but powerfully. Fear travels, yes, but so does comfort. A grooming hand, a calm vocalization, a presence beside pain. The chimps do not need to understand the full story to feel it. The feeling is enough. They do not look away. They join. You've felt this too. The shared ache when someone near you hurts. The urge to hold, to soothe, to simply be there. Tonight, let yourself remember that you are wired for this kind of connection. Your heart knows how to echo. It knows how to soften in response. And it knows, too, that being understood without explanation is a gift. You don't have to hold it all alone. Not every pain must be spoken. Not every comfort must be earned. Sometimes empathy just arrives, quiet, unasked, and real. Let that wind pass through you now. Let the soft breath of others' care, near or distant, find you. Let the echoes of kindness replace the sharp calls of the day. You are not an island. You are part of a group, a rhythm, a feeling passed gently from soul to soul. Let it settle you. Let it ease you. Sleep now, knowing that even your quietest emotions are felt, and that even now, something tender is reaching toward you. A dropped nut, a missed throw. They try again. Persistence is intelligence. The chimpanzee watches as the tool slips. The fruit stays shut. The crack fails to come. But there is no tantrum, no retreat, only repetition. Adjust. Strike again. Shift the grip. Try another angle. This is not mindless trial. It is mindful resilience. Each failure is a lesson, folded silently into the next attempt. And with time, the nut yields, the fruit opens, the chimp eats. You've done this too, even if you didn't call it intelligence, even if it felt like struggle. But every time you returned, every time you stayed with something difficult, you were learning, not just the task, but yourself. Tonight, let that truth settle into your body. You don't have to get it right the first time, or the fifth, or at all today. Your mind is allowed to stretch slowly, clumsily, beautifully. Sleep does not come to those who force it. It comes to those who return gently, again and again, to stillness. Let yourself try again now. not with pressure, but with patience. Let the day's failures fall away like empty shells. You've cracked many things open, even if you don't see it yet. You are learning, you are trying, and that is enough. Let that effort soften now into rest. Try sleep once more, and this time, let it come quietly, like a solution waiting inside the dark. They watch each other watching. Mind reads mind in glances and pauses. A chimp gazes upward, and another follows the gaze, not out of habit, but with purpose. They're not simply reacting to movement, they're anticipating thought. If one stares toward a tree, the others know it likely holds fruit. If one stays back, hesitant, the rest sense caution. This is more than mimicry. It is shared awareness, minds layered atop minds. This quiet knowing requires no words, no signals, just attention, just understanding. And you too have felt this. The way a look can speak louder than speech, the way silence can contain whole conversations. Tonight, let yourself rest in that knowing. You do not have to explain yourself. Not now, not here. Let your thoughts drift without needing to be named. Let the quiet glances of memory, of feeling, pass through you. You are not alone in your awareness. Somewhere, someone understands without needing the full story. Let that be enough. Let your mind soften, knowing it is seen, even in the dark. The chimps do not second-guess this invisible bond. They trust it. So can you. Let go of overthinking. Let go of proving. Let your breath align with that unseen understanding, the simple truth that someone, somewhere, senses what you feel. And in that space, sleep comes, not as escape, but as communion, a silent gaze into the night met and mirrored, a mind finally allowed to rest, a playful trick, a fake scare, and then laughter. Joy strengthens the link. One chimp hides, then jumps. Another shrieks, startled, then grins. What follows isn't fear, it's delight. The two roll together, slap the ground, pant, laugh in tandem. It's not just noise, it's connection. Humor is not exclusive to humans. It lives in the lightness between moments, the pause between action and understanding. Chimps tease, they mimic, they play not to win, but to bond, and in doing so, they reveal a truth. Laughter is intelligence turned gentle. Tonight, let yourself remember the times you've laughed like that, without reason, without agenda, only because it felt good to share the moment. Let that softness return, the kind that rises unexpectedly, the kind that doesn't demand anything in return. Even now, your body remembers that release, that loosening, that breathless smile. Let it carry you toward rest. Not everything has to be heavy. Not every thought has to be solved. Some can be set down, light as a giggle in the dark. The chimps know this. So do you. Let the echo of joy ripple through your memory. Let the muscles of your face relax. There is room, even in stillness, for a smile, for warmth, for that secret amusement that only you can feel. And from that place, let sleep come, not solemn, not distant, but playful, welcoming, the kind of sleep that grins before it sighs. They remember where water hides. Even after seasons, the map remains within. The rains come, the rivers swell, and then dry, but the chimpanzees do not forget. Long after the surface cracks and the green fades, they know where to dig. A buried root, a hidden hollow, a bend in the earth. These are the landmarks stored not in paper, but in mind. It is not guesswork. It is memory, layered and precise. When the world goes dry, they do not panic. They remember. You too carry maps like this, etched not in lines, but in feelings, places of safety, of peace, of calm, a tree from childhood, a song that made you weep, the feeling of morning light through an old window. Let those memories return now. Let them guide you like the chimps guided by ancient thirst. There is water somewhere in your mind, cool, quiet, waiting. And tonight, you do not need to search for it. Just close your eyes and let the path unfold. The roots know, the dust parts, and from deep within the memory of the world, something essential rises. You are not empty. You are not lost. The map is still there, drawn in the quiet folds of your being. Trust it. Let your breath move like water underground. Let it pool, let it settle, and then drink, not with urgency, but with peace. Sleep comes like a hidden spring, remembered when it's needed most. Let it fill you now. Hunger does not always mean action. They wait, knowing the reward will come. A ripe fruit hangs just out of reach, or a termite mound simmers with promise beneath the surface. The chimpanzees do not lunge or panic. They settle nearby, watching, thinking. They've seen this before. The rhythms of when food arrives, the shifts in season, the signals in the landscape, and so they wait. This is not laziness. This is strategy. Energy saved is energy gained. The mind is still active even when the body is at rest. You too have known this kind of waiting, the kind that required patience, not passivity. Let that knowledge return now. Not every hunger needs to be filled this moment. Some things, the sweetest things, arrive when you stop chasing them. Let your body ease into this stillness. Let your thoughts slow without abandoning their depth. There is wisdom in pausing. There is brilliance in not acting. The chimpanzees understand the difference between want and need, between now and soon. Tonight, let go of urgency. Let go of chasing. Trust that what you need will find you when the time is right. Sleep, too, often works this way, not as a response to exhaustion, but as a reward for quiet trust. You are not falling behind by resting. You are aligning with a deeper rhythm. Wait gently. Let stillness feed you in ways movement cannot. And when the moment is right, you will reach with grace, with ease, and the fruit will fall. Some inspect their teeth, their eyes, not out of vanity, but curiosity. A mirror is placed nearby, and the chimp pauses, not with confusion, but with focus. Fingers trace the reflection, eyes meet their own. There is recognition, not of another, but of self. This is more than awareness of the body. It is awareness of being. The chimp knows that is me. And with that comes a gentle spiral of thought. How do I look? Why am I shaped this way? What else might I understand about myself? You've stood before mirrors too, not always to judge, sometimes just to see, to remember you exist. Tonight, let yourself return to that simple presence, not as an image, but as a being. Let your awareness move inward, not critical, not restless, just curious. Feel the weight of your limbs, the rhythm of your breath, the shape of your thoughts. You are not a stranger to yourself. You are someone discovering gently from the inside out. The chimp doesn't rush the moment. Neither should you. Stay here, looking softly at the quiet reflection of your mind. Let your thoughts ripple like reflections in still water, not to be solved, just noticed. You are real, you are here, and you are learning yourself every moment. Let that awareness be enough. Let it soothe you. Let it fold you inward towards sleep. No need to pose, no need to perfect. Just be seen, known, whole. Not all bonds are equal. Time tests, and they choose their closeness carefully. In the forest, proximity is not random. A chimp may sit near one, avoid another, groom a third. These choices are not instinct alone. They are earned, observed, remembered. Who offered comfort during stress? Who betrayed during a fight? Who shared food? Who took too much? Trust is built, slowly, across many days. It is broken too, and not always repaired. The chimps remember. They forgive selectively. And they return, not always to blood, but to reliability. You've done the same, even if the settings were different. You've felt the subtle shaping of who you trust and why. Tonight, let those memories soften. Let the faces of those who've earned your peace rise quietly in your mind. No judgment, just noticing. Who sits beside you in your inner forest? Who have you learned to turn toward? Let that circle hold you now, even if it's small, especially if it's small. Trust is not about numbers, it's about presence. The chimps don't need a crowd. They need one or two they can rely on. So do you. Let that presence, real or imagined, curl beside your sleep. You are not alone in your stillness. You've chosen wisely. You've learned who to open to. And tonight, that knowing surrounds you like leaves, like safety, like soft breath shared in the dark. Let it hold you as you drift. Let it be enough. It's not about removing insects. It's a ritual of care, of calm, of trust. Fingers part fur not with urgency, but with tenderness. One chimp sits still, eyes closed, while another searches, slowly, deliberately. This isn't grooming for hygiene alone. It's a gesture of safety, a language of touch that says, I see you, I'm here, you matter. The rhythm is steady, the moments long. Between fingers and fur, something ancient passes, something quieter than words, but louder than silence. You've known this feeling too, the way someone brushing your hair can feel like healing, the way a hand resting on your back can dissolve a day's weight. Tonight, let that memory rise. Let it land softly in your chest. Imagine gentle fingers combing through the clutter of your thoughts, clearing, soothing, softening. No fixing, just presence, just care. The chimp doesn't rush, neither should you. Let yourself be still in this touch, even if only in imagination. You are not being inspected. You are being comforted. You are not being judged. You are being held. Let the ritual repeat until your breath slows, until your shoulders release, until the need to carry everything fades. This is trust, not demanded, but offered. Let it wash through you. Let it wrap around you. There is nothing to do now but receive. You are groomed not for appearance, but for peace. And in this soft communion, sleep arrives, not from exhaustion, but from gentleness. Let it take you, let it keep you. Elders watch the children play, not just with nostalgia, with silent pride. A young chimp climbs, stumbles, swings again. The old one nearby does not interrupt, does not instruct, but they see. They see the strength forming in limbs, the cleverness emerging in games, the social bonds beginning to thread. And in this quiet witnessing, there is something deep, not intervention, but presence. They know these moments matter, that laughter now becomes leadership later, that the forest needs both memory and motion. You've felt this too, haven't you? Watching someone younger find their way, a mixture of joy and reverence. Tonight, be the elder in your own mind. Let yourself observe your younger self, not to correct, not to scold, but to witness. See the child you were, curious and flawed and beautiful. Let pride rise in you, not because everything went right, but because you kept going. Let memory be gentle, let time soften the edges. The chimps don't rush to guide. They stay close, offer shelter, offer eyes that understand, offer silence that speaks. I see who you're becoming, and I believe in it. Let that belief reach you now. Let it cradle you like shade in the heat. You are still becoming, and someone, somewhere, past or present, is proud of the shape you're taking. Rest in that gaze. Let it be your blanket. Let it lull you toward stillness, toward rest, toward the dream of being seen and gently, always supported. Some hold on to things that belong to the lost. A twig, a spot, a scent. A chimp returns again and again to the place where another one sat. They carry a leaf that belonged to someone now gone. They pause at a familiar tree and linger longer than necessary. This is not habit. This is memory shaped by love. It is mourning, not loud or explained, but quiet and embodied. The grief of animals is not less than ours. It is simply wordless and still. It is heavy, still. Why, it is real. Tonight, let yourself feel the things you've carried, the places in your mind that ache because someone is missing, the objects you've held for longer than needed, not for utility, but for connection. Let those memories rise, not sharply, but gently. Let the presence of the absent soothe you, not startle you. They are still there, in some small way, in the way you speak, in the way you pause, in the way you care. The chimps do not rush their grief. They return until they are ready to move on. You are allowed to do the same. You are allowed to feel and still rest. Let your breath carry the shape of what was. Let your body hold space for it. And in that stillness, let yourself be comforted. You are not strange for missing. You are not alone in remembering. You are simply loving, still, and being loved back in ways too quiet to name. They shift before another moves. Understanding without words, a dance of prediction. One chimp reaches toward a branch, and another is already leaning aside. A foot lifts, and the next step is anticipated before it lands. This is not coincidence. It is a choreography honed by years of shared space, subtle cues, and silent fluency. They know each other not just by sight, but by rhythm, by the weight of a glance, the angle of a shoulder, the breath before a gesture. This is communication deeper than language. Felt in the body, read in the air. You've known moments like this too. A friend who finishes your sentence, a pet who senses your sadness, a loved one who shifts just before you do. Tonight, let yourself enter that stillness, that intuition. Imagine the world around you, moving in time with your breath, the night predicting your needs, the dark understanding without asking. No words, no effort, just gentle alignment. You do not need to explain yourself here. The chimp doesn't ask for permission. It simply knows. So do you. Somewhere beneath thought is a knowledge older than speech. Let that rise now. Let it carry you. You are not separate from the motion around you. You are part of the forest's breath, the quiet geometry of understanding. Let your body relax into the softness of being known without needing to declare. Let the world move with you, not in response, but in recognition. You belong to a deeper rhythm. Drift with it now, leaves folded just so, branches bent at the right angle. Not instinct, but choice. A chimp gathers soft materials, tests each for flexibility, shapes a place to rest. This is not mere survival, it is comfort crafted, a bed made not just to sleep, but to feel safe, held at ease. The structure curves with the body. The materials change with the season. Some even return to the same trees, to the same bend in a bough that fits just right. You've done this too. Rearranged pillows, tucked yourself in, shaped the space until it felt like yours. Tonight, honor that quiet ritual, the making of comfort, the decision to soften the world around you, even just a little. Let your bed be your nest. Let each fold of the blanket echo the care of a chimp smoothing leaves. This isn't frivolous, it's foundational. To rest well is to live well. The chimp doesn't settle for any branch. It selects, arranges, returns. So do you. Let yourself be selective. Let yourself shape your quiet. Even if only in your imagination, build the softest place to land. Let your mind smooth the surface. Let your breath line the nest. You are not merely resting. You are honoring your need for peace. And that too is intelligence. Not loud, not praised, but deep, thoughtful, real. Rest now in what you've shaped, a comfort of your own making, a space where sleep isn't just possible, but welcomed, invited, held. Alpha is not always loudest. Sometimes it's the one who knows when to walk away. In the troop, dominance isn't only displayed through force, it's shown in restraint, in stillness, in the calm decision to de-escalate. A chimp might avoid a fight, not out of fear, but wisdom. The one who leads doesn't always stand in the center. Sometimes they're on the edge, watching, listening, knowing when to speak and when to let silence work. You've seen this kind of leadership. Maybe you've lived it. The person who steadies the room, not with volume, but with presence. The friend who diffuses tension with a glance, a breath, a change in pace. Tonight, let that quiet strength surround you. You do not have to prove yourself in noise. Your calm is not absence, it is depth. The chimp doesn't need to dominate to guide. It needs to observe, to know, to choose wisely. Let yourself feel that knowing now, that your value is not measured in how much you say, but in how deeply you listen to yourself, to others, to the world slowing around you. Leadership can be gentle, influence can be calm, power can rest in stillness. As you lie here, feel the quiet command in your body, not stiff, not tense, just centered, just ready. Let your breath lead the room of your mind. Let it soften conflict. Let it guide you gently into peace. You are allowed to walk away from the noise and into sleep where your strength can rest. A young one without a mother is not left behind. Another steps in. No ceremony, just care. A female chimp gathers the orphan near her side, offering warmth without hesitation. She offers food, offers shelter, offers presence. There is no discussion, no deliberation, just action born from recognition. A life is in need, and that is enough. The troop adjusts, makes space, supports the bond. It is not always the strongest who steps forward, but often the one most willing to hold another's weight. You've seen this too, in foster parents, in older siblings, in quiet neighbors who check in and bring food. Tonight, remember the power of stepping in, of making someone else's survival part of your rhythm, of choosing simply to care. Let yourself feel that kind of love, the kind that doesn't wait to be asked, and also let yourself receive it. Maybe you were the one gathered. Maybe you are still learning that love does not have to come from blood. The chimp does not look for thanks. She just wraps her arm around the young one and holds still. Let that stillness reach you now. Let the idea of chosen care settle into your chest like warmth. You are not alone. Someone has reached for you. Someone will again. And maybe one day you'll reach for another. No need to plan it. Just rest in the truth that care is not rare. It is quiet, and it is here. Let that truth soothe you into sleep. They remember who brought harm, who brought peace. These memories guide their next steps. A chimp avoids a certain face, not out of fear alone, but out of memory. Another leans toward the one who once offered food, a touch, a calm presence. These recollections are not filed away like books on a shelf. They live in the body, in the instincts, in the choices made at dusk. A glance can bring back 1,000 moments. A scent, a gesture, a sound all carry history. You, too, are made of such memory. Emotional echoes ripple through you daily, and while not all memories are gentle, they all speak. Tonight, let the peaceful ones rise. Let them float upward like fireflies. The time someone stayed when others left, the touch that asked nothing, the voice that made you feel safe. These are your guides now. The chimps do not forget, but they do not dwell either. They move forward, informed, wiser, more whole. You can do the same. Let the memory of calm lead you toward more of it. Let the warmth you once felt return now, not as longing, but as presence. You do not have to relive it. Only remember that it was real, and that more will come. Let your body soften into the knowledge that your heart remembers for a reason. It is shaping your next kindness, your next boundary, your next rest. And right now, it's guiding you to peace. Let it lead. Even when apart, connection lingers. Reunion comes with tenderness. A chimp recognizes an old friend after years. A look, a soft sound, and the space between them dissolves. They touch foreheads, they groom, they breathe the same air again. The bond did not fade in absence. It waited. It endured. You've felt this too. A friend reappears, and no words are needed. Time has passed, but affection has not. The thread was never cut, only stretched. Tonight, remember someone like that. Someone whose memory wraps around your chest like a scarf. Someone whose name still feels like home, even if they are far, even if they are gone. Let that connection hum in your ribcage. You do not need to speak to be understood. The chimps know this. They hold silence like a bridge, and when they cross it, they do so gently. Let that be your image now. A quiet path between hearts, lit by trust, softened by time. You are not forgotten. You have not forgotten either. And reunion, in any form, dream, thought, presence, is a return to love. Let that truth soften the night. Let your breath match the rhythm of memory and trust. No need to hurry. No need to explain. You are still held by what once held you. Bonds are not broken by distance. They are carried forward like light through fog. Let that warmth be your comfort. Let it stay with you as you drift. They use certain plants when sick, not random, chosen, remembered, chewed with hope. A chimp bends a branch, pulls a bitter leaf, and chews it slowly, not for hunger, but for healing. This is not instinct alone. It is learned, observed, passed on through the quiet watching of others. Certain leaves are purgatives, others soothe parasites. Some are eaten whole, some are spit out. This is medicine, not in bottles or syringes, but in the rustle of trees and the hush of forest understory. You've done this too, reached for what heals, sometimes without knowing why. Tonight, let yourself rest in the memory your body carries. It knows what soothes. It remembers comfort. Just like the chimp doesn't need a name for the plant, you don't need a label for your need. Trust the reaching. Trust the choosing. Imagine walking through the forest of your own mind and finding what softens you. A scent, a sound, a breath, a thought. Let your inner healer step forward, quiet and sure. The science of leaves is not just in their chemistry, but in the wisdom of knowing which to choose. Let that wisdom guide you now. You do not need to solve everything. You only need to listen, to remember, to trust that you, too, carry ancient ways of tending to pain. Let the bitterness pass. Let the healing begin. You are not lost in your ache. You are finding your remedy. And in this moment, that remedy is stillness, is breath, is sleep. There is no vote, only momentum. A group slowly shifts, and that becomes direction. One chimp begins to rise, another follows. The rest pause, glance, then drift the same way. No one calls out, no one commands, but still they move together. Consensus is not loud. It is a tide, a gentle pull that gathers weight until the whole troop is walking through the forest, as if by shared dream. You've felt this, haven't you? The way a room can shift when one person stands, the way silence turns toward action without anyone saying a word. Tonight, feel the group in your own life, those whose movements have guided yours softly, those you followed not because you had to, but because it felt right. And remember the times when it was you, the quiet initiator, the one whose choice shaped the path. Let that awareness ease your breath. There is wisdom in how decisions arise, not always from logic or force, but from presence, from trust, from timing. The chimps do not hurry. They wait until the group is ready, and then they move. Let that be your rhythm tonight. No pressure, no push, just the slow forming of readiness inside you. You are not alone. Even your smallest choices ripple outward. Even your stillness is part of something larger. So move or rest as you need. Let the others follow, or let yourself follow them. Either way, you are part of a quiet dance, and it will carry you where you need to go. Some are bold, some are shy. Minds carry their own quiet shapes. Within a single chimpanzee group, personalities bloom like wildflowers. One loves to explore, always climbing, always first. Another prefers the edges, watching before joining. Another plays often, loud and gleeful. Another solves puzzles in solitude. These differences are not mistakes. They are signatures, expressions of the same shared intelligence, filtered through the prism of individuality. You've known people like this. You are one of them, and within yourself, perhaps you've been many of these shapes over time. Let that comfort you now. There is no single way to be good, no single path to understanding. Tonight, let your personality rest exactly as it is. If you are quiet, be quiet. If you are full of thought, let your mind wander gently. If you are tired, let yourself need nothing more than breath. The chimps do not compare. They accept. They make space for difference, because difference enriches the group. So too with you. Let your inner landscape stretch without judgment. You do not need to perform. You do not need to prove. You are enough precisely as you are. Let your boldness soften. Let your caution feel seen. Let every part of you, shy, curious, playful, thoughtful, find room to stretch, to exhale, to belong. Personality is not a flaw to be polished. It is a song being sung in your own key. And tonight, you can hum it softly as you drift, held by the chorus of quiet minds. An old stick becomes a new tool. Innovation is born from memory. A chimp picks up a twig and strips it with practiced ease, turning it into something useful, a wand for termites, a lever for opening, a brush for grooming. This isn't trial and error in the dark. This is memory at work. The tool may have served one purpose yesterday, but today it becomes something else. They adapt not with fanfare, but with quiet brilliance. You've done this too, repurposed, reimagined, reached into your past and to solve the now. Tonight, let that instinct settle beside you. Reinvention doesn't always require a full reset. Sometimes it's as simple as seeing the old with new eyes. The chimp doesn't search far. It uses what's near, what's known. That's all you need right now. You don't have to find a brand new answer. Just let what you've already learned bend toward your current need. Your tools are not gone. They're just waiting to be reshaped. So if something feels broken, stuck, unfinished, pause. Look again. You carry more than you think. You've survived with scraps before. You've built beauty out of memory. Rest in that truth. The stick in the chimp's hand is not remarkable on its own, but in the right grip, with the right intention, it becomes a bridge to something better. Let that be your closing thought tonight, that what you've carried this far still holds potential, that the past can feed the future, that even now your hands remember how to begin again. Calls are not just noise. They name the danger. They say where, how, who. In the forest, a sharp sound rings out. Not panic, not chaos, precision. One chimp alerts the others. A leopard high in the trees. Another call means snake. Another means hawk. The messages are not vague cries. They are information, urgent and clear. The group listens, adjusts, moves together in response. This is not just fear. This is language. You know this feeling, the moment when someone's voice carries more than words, a tone that tells you everything. Tonight, listen to your own inner calls, the ones that warn not with volume, but with quiet insistence, fatigue that says, rest now, a sigh that says, enough, a whisper of unease that says, step back. These are not weaknesses. These are signals. Your mind, like the chimp's, is trying to protect you, to guide you. Let it. You do not have to explain yourself. You only have to heed the voice within that knows what danger looks like, even when it wears the mask of productivity or pressure. The chimp doesn't argue with the call. It moves. It trusts. So tonight, trust your instincts. If something calls you to stillness, to quiet, to softness, follow. Let the false alarms fade and the true ones guide. You are not overreacting. You are listening. You are learning to name what matters. And in doing so, you are finding safety in your own awareness. Their daily rhythms follow the light, not rigid, but known, familiar, soft. As the sun begins its slow descent through the trees, the chimpanzees begin to settle. Play winds down, foraging slows, nest building begins. Each one weaves leaves and branches into a resting place. Not hurried, not careless. The forest dims and their world shifts into stillness. This isn't routine for routine's sake. It's rhythm, a cadence set by nature. You have rhythms too, though they may feel buried under alarms and deadlines. Tonight, let them return. Let your breath sink to something older. The slow arc of the sun, the hush of dusk. The chimps don't need clocks. They feel the day in their bones, and so do you. You know when it's time to soften. You know the difference between motion and rest, even when the world around you forgets. So return to that knowing. Let the pattern hold you. There is peace in repetition, in brushing teeth, dimming lights, laying down. You are not stuck in habit. You are gliding along a gentle track, one that creatures have followed for eons. Feel how natural it is to close your eyes, to turn inward, to stop. The chimp's nest is not just a place to sleep. It is a declaration of pause, of surrender. Let your own bed become that now, a sign to the world and to yourself that this moment is yours, that your rhythm is intact, that rest tonight is not an escape, it is a return. They think as they move, eyes scanning, minds weaving old roots with new needs. The path ahead is not guessed, it is felt. One foot follows the other, but the mind drifts ahead, recalling where fruit once grew, where danger once waited, where quiet once lived. The forest is not just a backdrop, but a map living and breathing, speaking in subtle signs. A rustle here, a scent there, it all becomes thought in motion. And still, there is no rush. Their pace allows the world to speak. You do this too. As you walk, your thoughts gather and loosen. Ideas form in rhythm with your steps. Movement is not a break from thinking. It is part of it. So let that thought be your rest tonight. You do not need to sit still to understand. You are allowed to drift and reflect, to remember and reimagine, all while moving softly toward rest. Let your mind walk its gentle path, following memories like landmarks, old hopes, quiet joys, places that fed you once. They are still there. The chimp doesn't panic when the path turns unfamiliar. It pauses, listens, trusts its inner map. You can too. Let your thoughts keep walking, even as your body lies still. The destination is not a place. It's a state of peace. You will arrive by remembering, by sensing, by following what feels softly right. Let your breath be your footsteps now. Let your thinking be a journey, not a burden. Let the mind keep moving, gently, endlessly, homeward. Even the old ones sometimes roll, chase, laugh. Joy does not retire. A silver-haired chimp suddenly dashes forward, spinning through leaves with a gleam in its eye. It doesn't need to prove anything. It simply wants to feel the rush. Others respond, laughter rippling like wind through the canopy. In that moment, age is not a barrier. Memory, muscle, and mood all say yes. Yes to delight. Yes to now. You know this too. There are days when your body remembers joy before your mind catches up. A favorite song, a sudden breeze, a scent from childhood, something stirs, and you smile without needing a reason. That is play. That is the spark that doesn't fade. Tonight, let it flicker again. You don't need to perform, to chase anything, to entertain. You only need to feel lightness, a small lift in the chest, a warmth behind the eyes. That is enough. The chimp knows that play is not wasted time. It is maintenance for the soul, connection, relief, renewal. So let go of the day's heavy shapes. Let your thoughts roll like stones down a soft hill. No edges, no weight, just motion. Let laughter you once shared rise again, quietly. Let it echo, even if only inside, even if no one else hears it. That joy still belongs to you. It always will. Rest knowing that the spirit of play lives on, not childish, not fleeting, but eternal and wise. A lesson whispered by old hands and bright eyes. Evening brings stillness. Reflections shimmer in their gaze as the forest darkens. The last calls of birds fade, replaced by the hush of insects and leaves. Chimps gather close, their movements slowing with the sun. Not asleep yet, just quieter. You can see it in their eyes, the way they stare into the dimming branches, not searching, remembering, processing. A day lived, a path walked, a moment held. You have this time too, the threshold between doing and dreaming. Let it be gentle. Let your mind slow without needing answers. The chimp does not narrate its thoughts. It simply feels them pass through like wind. So let yours do the same. No need to capture or fix. Let them soften, spread out, dissolve. The forest is changing hue. Light no longer cuts through, but pools, softer, deeper. You are safe to follow that fading, to reflect without pressure, to rest without conclusion. This is the hour where thought becomes water, where memory turns to mist, and in that mist, clarity sometimes floats forward, but only when not chased. Trust that your mind knows what to keep and what to let drift. Let your breath lengthen. Let your body fold into stillness. Evening has arrived, not just in the sky, but within you. The chimps know the day is done. They do not resist the dark, they welcome it. So welcome it now too. Let dusk be your mirror, quiet, full, and ready to sleep. Not everything they do is about food or fear. Some moments are just noticing. A pause that stretches longer than needed. A gaze held on a leaf, a bird, a beam of light. The chimp does not always act. Sometimes it simply witnesses, not reacting, not analyzing, just present. You've felt this too. The stillness where no task calls, where the world unfolds and you simply lead it. A moment on a balcony, a quiet glance through a window. Nothing urgent, but something real. That is awareness beyond survival, the ability to be here without needing to change the here. The chimp sits in the crook of a tree, not sleeping, not eating, not moving, just being, breathing, seeing, feeling. And that too is intelligence. Not every brilliance is in solving. Some of it is in sensing, in the ability to stop long enough for the world to enter. Tonight, allow that same quiet awareness to return to you. There is nothing you must accomplish now, no fear to solve, no hunger to feed, just noticing. The shape of your breath, the sound of the dark, the way your thoughts settle like dust in still air. Awareness is not always a sharp thing. Sometimes it is the softest gift, the mind, resting with eyes open. Let yourself be seen by the night. Let the forest of your thoughts grow quiet. There is more to you than surviving. There is more to them too, and in that shared noticing, something ancient stirs, something whole. Their language is in rhythm, in I, in echo. Understanding floats between them. A grunt, a pause, a raised brow, and meaning is shared, not translated, not decoded, but felt. Like a drum beat you don't need to count. You know it. You move with it. The chimps speak in glances and timing, in touch and distance. Their communication doesn't always need sound. Sometimes silence is the loudest word. You too know this language. A friend looks at you and you know what they mean. A breath held, a shared sigh, meaning without words. Tonight, let yourself remember how much can be said without speaking, the way presence alone can comfort, the way timing can tell a story. A child knows when a parent is near, a loved one knows when to reach. These truths are older than language, and still they live in you. Let your body rest in that deep memory. You don't need to explain yourself now. The dark understands. The forest around the chimps does not ask for grammar. It listens, it feels. Let your heart do the same. Let meaning drift through you like a breeze through tall grass, no direction, but full of song. The chimps are not confused by the absence of words. They know what is real. So do you. Feel it in your chest, in the way you soften, in the way you hear, even in stillness. Understanding was never far. It has always floated between us, quiet and complete. The more we look, the more we see, not us, not them, just thought in another form, not a mirror, but a cousin. The chimp sits and holds its head, puzzled, perhaps even pondering. It uses a tool, then changes its grip, considering. It watches a fight, then stays close to the injured. Something stirs behind the eyes. Not just reaction, but reflection. You've seen it, maybe not in exact words, but in the quiet intelligence of gesture. And when you see it, really see it, something inside loosens, a wall drops. The barrier of species becomes more like a veil. Their minds are not copies, but they are not alien either. They remember, they solve, they feel, and you are not so distant. What if thought is not owned, but shared? What if awareness blooms in many shapes? Let that idea lull you tonight. The notion that the universe did not grant mind to just one face, but let it ripple out like light through leaves. The chimp dreams too, movements in sleep, soft sounds, perhaps memories, perhaps plans, a mind stretching quietly like yours. Let this kinship calm you. Let it melt the urge to separate. You were never meant to feel alone in thought. You are part of a lineage of wonder, beings who notice, who care, who change. The chimp does not need to speak to be understood. Neither do you. Just rest now. You are thinking, feeling, resting, not so different after all. The forest has always included you. The mind that watches is not only theirs, but yours too. The boundary between observer and observed is softer than you think. You do not stand apart from nature. You are folded into it. The chimp glances at the stars, and so do you. The same dark above, the same soil below. You both pause at twilight, drawn by a quiet you cannot name. That is not coincidence. That is kinship. The mind that stirs in the chimp, alert, reflective, responsive, also stirs in you. Not a replica, but a resonance, something shared, something old. As you lie here now, breathing into stillness, let that connection wrap around you. You do not need to earn your place in the living world. You already belong. The forest welcomes you without question. The night sky includes you in its turning. You too are part of this vast awareness, this calm, curious presence that flows through life. Let yourself feel it not just within, but all around. You are not a visitor in this story. You are written in its pages. The chimp's mind does not exclude yours. It reaches toward it, a bridge of breath, of gaze, of knowing. Let that be enough. Let it be your final thought tonight. You were never outside the circle. You are inside it now, and always were. Let the forest hold you. Let the kinship soothe you. Let the shared awareness carry you into sleep, quiet, connected, whole. And now, as the last leaf of thought settles, and the forest grows quiet once more, let yourself drift into the hush that follows wonder. You've wandered gently through minds not your own, through the soft intelligence of chimps, their gestures and glances, their laughter and silence, their memory and mystery. You've rested beside them in the crook of ancient trees, listening not just for words, but for feeling. And now, you are part of that stillness, part of that breath. The line between their world and yours has softened, like mist curling through branches. Tonight, there is no need to understand everything. There is only the slow comfort of connection, of knowing that thought takes many forms, and that yours is just one among a forest of others. Let that widen your peace. Let it stretch out like the arms of night itself. The stars above do not ask you to be more than you are. The dark does not rush you. The world in its quiet turning makes room for minds that move slowly, softly, inward. You are allowed to rest now, not as a break from being, but as part of it. Let your breath mirror the calm rhythm of those ancient creatures. Let your thoughts ripple and fade like reflections on still water. The journey has brought you here, not to an ending, but to a pause, a breath, a dream. So close your eyes, sleepy traveler. The forest remembers you, and the stars are still watching.